Hi, and welcome to our playtest of In the Face of Our Despair. So I'm really excited about today. I know I say I'm excited a lot in all these streams and all these videos, but I'm really excited today because we're playing with our Brinkwood friends, who in part really inspired me to start working on this game in general. In fact, you can find Sarah's poem / lullaby in the book In the Face of Our Despair. It's on the front page. So I'm super excited for y'all to see it. And this particular incursion is quite special. It connects to characters who are, well, I like them. I feel like my players don't like them.
There's a lot to them.
It's complicated. It's complicated.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh. But there you go. So with this particular incursion we're playing is called Riot, the Ring. Let me see. Like, no, I'm double checking. Ooh, PDF, behave. It crashed. Okay.
Oh no.
Okay, it uncrashed itself, I think. It told me it crashed and then it didn't. But yeah, so this incursion is called The Story of Riot, the Ring of Hearts. And so each incursion of In the Face of Our Despair is connected to one of the masks that a brigand can wear in the game Brinkwood, Blood of Tyrants. So we'll see how this story of this mask unfolds in this prequel of sorts. So I'll go ahead and read the premise of this incursion. The Forest Choir is a place of great marvel and beauty. The birthplace of the Dryads, this forest flourishes around the heart trees. They stand strong, hundreds of them, each a network of voices, life, celebration, and beauty. 4 generations, Fae artists have flocked here, eager to have their song, dance, art, or very life join the multitude of voices here. To be immortalized and accepted by one of the heart trees is an honor beyond measure. This day was meant to outshine the rest. Bashka, a young and brilliant Fae, favored by the Dryad Queen, has chosen to renew her vows of love to her human lover, a feudal lord who stands bravely against the vampiric invasion of the lands. Spoiler alert, this guy could possibly turn into an evil vampire lord. We'll see what happens. We may stand in the face of Lord today. But the vampire lords are determined to use the celebration as a means to infiltrate and take the heart trees for themselves. They will ensure that the Forest Choir will be full of screams, and they will claim the Dryads as fine hunters to answer their cruel bidding. So we shall see what happens. So we're going to introduce our characters. We'll go in. Are we cool with going character keeper order? So we'll start with Sarah, if that's okay.
Fine with me.
Yeah. Okay. So just very briefly tell us about your character. It can even just be, you can keep it as brief as you like. No need to get into it so we can see it in the flashbacks and stuff later.
It's fine. I am playing an individual referred to as the Longest Shadow. He goes by Shade, just for shortened version. He answers to he, him, but also it. Shade is not technically a Fae. He sort of is. He's actually a construct that was created to protect the heart trees. He is quiet, dark. He physically looks kind of like a living tree. His skin is made of bark. His hair is like hanging wild grass, and there's this rune that is right on his forehead that seems to change what it looks like from person to person.
Cool. I suddenly realized, because some of the Fae, they kind of look like that, right? So unlike when you think of human versus golem, you can see the difference clearly, but golem versus Fae maybe not as much. So I'm
sure the Fae could probably tell the difference, but to a human walking in, they'd be like, whatever, you're Fae, right?
Yeah. Okay. So racism, got it. So
yeah, pretty much. Although is it racism or is it speciest? Since I'm a totally different species, technically.
That's true.
Whatever.
That's a good point. And then second, let's hear from Veronica. I'm super excited about this character too.
So I will be playing Ciela, who's she, her pronouns. And Ciela is very entertained by the arts. She likes music and dance. She can be a little flighty. She can be very focused on whatever shiny thing has caught her attention and maybe not what she should be focusing on in the moment. She could also be a little chaotic and mischievous. She enjoys charming people to get her way, and may actually not look like herself if it's advantageous not to.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see how this character plays out. I was hoping we get to see a Fae Guardian that's less fighty, so this is going to be really cool. And then last but not least, a very fiery last character by Josh.
Yes, I will be playing Brador, or Brador. I don't know how you say it. Let's go with Brador. Uses he, him pronouns. He wears a mask inscribed with runes that is never taken off. He is a duelist, so something of a dashing, charismatic individual. However, his past is as a despairing firebrand. So I imagine there's kind of an undercurrent of melancholy beneath it all. He is driven to find the last of the fire dancers and rescue them. Who or whatever those fire dancers will be, we'll find out.
Okay.
Also,
awesome.
he has the fire ritual, so I went for a
Right.
theme.
Fire.
Yeah. And song and fire and
Ah.
song. So that's super cool. And okay, so those are our characters for our session. So the way that In the Face of Our Despair works, and my players know this because they've already been in a game at least. It is a game where it's not about winning against the vampire lords that are invading the forest. It's just about trying to stand up against the darkness, save what you can. But despair is definitely, most likely, it is likely that our characters will become corrupted. We'll see, though. So far, Sarah has survived every single one.
Not this one. Not this one. I'm going whole hog, man.
Yeah.
Poor Shane.
Hey, you know what? Seeing a construct turned into a vampire or vampire-esque thing could be interesting.
Yeah,
And we'll probably have horrific consequences for our Brinkwood game,
Yeah, just normal things. But yeah, for sure. Okay, so I realized I forgot to go over our safety tools, our support tools. So I'll give everybody a minute just to review. But we are using lines and veils. And we will also be using script change. And there's also an open door policy. I know it's very late for some of us. So if we need to bow out at any time, it's totally cool. So I'll just give everybody a few minutes. When you're okay, just type okay in the chat. Okay, so let me just review. Let's see. And this is a living document. We can always come back to it and add stuff. I actually put in romance because I realize there's some players who are not as excited about romance as I am. So, which is fair. It's totally fair. So I put that just in case. Okay. And so we have a veil on harm to animals, a line on sexual assault, a veil on sexual content, a veil on torture, and asking first for memory manipulation. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started in this heartbreaking thing I created. So as our Fae Guardians enter, you know what's important. You know what's on the line. The heart trees have been very important to the Fae for a long time. There are hundreds of them. And so saving all of them will be difficult, but we have to do what we can. And so as you enter the forest here, the trees are full of brilliant lights. It looks warm and inviting out here, but you also see that there are decorations that have been hung in preparation for the ceremony, but most of them are in tatters. Some are destroyed and shattered underneath your feet. You can see that something or someone has moved here very quickly and crushed the decorations and had their way with them. You also see that in the distance, you can hear great laughter ringing out throughout the forest. So there's someone laughing There are people. It sounds like people are chasing each other. There are a few shrieks, but it sounds like it's joyful for now. But as you get deeper and deeper into the forest, the joyous shrieks start to turn into real screams, and then there is sudden silence. What do we do? Do we want to investigate or move further?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean towards investigate. See what has stopped the cries and possibly what turned them into screaming.
Mm-hmm. Right. So as you move closer, you can see that there was once beautiful trees here. All the trees are lit up from the inside, and they're all softly glowing. But all you can see are clothes all over the ground. There's no one there, but you can still feel the screams echoing in the air, and you're not sure where they're coming from. I will say that if you take a closer look, you may risk corruption. So you don't have to do it right now, but
I totally am.
Yeah, it's like someone's got to.
I mean, did the trees before this, did they glow from the inside like this, or is that new?
it is absolutely new.
Yeah. At minimum, I think Shade's gonna kind of look around to see whether or not there are footsteps, and then he's gonna go in and lean into like one of the trees.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so do you have the link for the roll for your party? It is still the same naturally legal unicorn. So just take a dark die, and let's see. You just have to roll lower than 3, basically.
Okie dokie. Do I get a white die for an appropriate skill?
Oh no, this is just a pure corruption roll. Just
Okay.
To see if you
Oh,
can,
right.
heal yourself. Yeah.
Do it like the QB thing.
It is the same, which means I go up 1.
Okay. So what happened? So you still, I'll describe what you see, and then we'll also get into the corruption as it takes hold. So as you get closer, you can see that the trees are pulsating, that they're shifting, and you can see sort of like a hand going up against the bark of the tree.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
And you can see people are trying to claw their way out, and the trees are slowly sinking into the ground.
All right, it wasn't. Nope, that was not on my radar, but it is now, and that's horrific. Mm-hmm. Cool.
Right. And so as you, I think I'll let you go ahead and try to do something if you like first, before we talk about what condition is inflicted. What would you like to do? I'm just going to write here. We'll do the condition in a bit.
Oh, no, I think it makes sense. I think he's going to actually try and consume one of the people out of the tree. And yes, it means that they'll go into him, but he can at least release them afterwards.
Yeah, and other people are free to try to do something also, but that sounds super cool. So I like how we went straight for consume. Yes, let's do it.
Well, some kind of glamour is gonna help. So
right. So we have 1 dark die for this ritual because our magic, as beautiful as it is, it's already slowly being tainted by the vampires.
Messed up.
So you have 1 dark die. Do you have a skill that you feel would apply? I guess your golem.
I'm gonna make an argument for protection.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And let's see. So that's already 2 die. Do we have bargains to offer? Once again, only if a bargain immediately comes to mind. If nothing, that's fine. My bargain.
How did I forget about the bargains?
My bargain for you is that it will be your inventor, the one who created you, that you're going to save, but they don't like you very much. That's my bargain. That's my bargain.
Fun. That's fun.
Let's give the golem some daddy issues.
Okay.
Anything from Josh or Veronica?
Yeah. What if so? Your goal is to consume them, but then let them out. What if you end up accidentally taking something from them?
Ooh, maybe like a memory or a part of their personality or something. That's also very cool.
Oh man.
Yeah. Anything from Veronica? No pressure.
No, I was gonna. I see now. I feel mean. I was actually gonna be a little vicious. You will be able to consume them, but you will feel all of their fear of having been put in this the whatever process they went through to end up in these trees.
That is mean.
I told you, being vicious apparently, but a mood.
I like it. Are you going to take any of the bargains? You can also like edit or tweak the bargains as you like.
No, I'm definitely taking one of the bargains. Oh, but Josh's is so good, and also so is Jammy's, and both of them have possibilities, and I don't know which one I will like better. I like yours, Veronica. It's just so mean.
That's fine. I'm okay with you being like, that's no, I don't want to torture my character on the first ring.
Not yet.
We'll save that one for later.
Yeah,
in a carryover.
Like the, you fall in love that Jammy keeps bringing back every time. I actually think I'm going to take Josh's though, because I think the idea of watching every time that Shade consumes someone, his personality alters a little bit, I think is hilarious.
Ooh, nice.
I like that.
Okay, so we have 3 die so far. If you want to add a dark die later, to reroll all the dice, you can do that if you're willing to risk body, heart, or mind. But for now, we can roll with the 3.
What was that dice?
Oh my gosh. Well, the good news is that the dark die is not the highest. It's equal to, so you can add another dark die and reroll.
Yeah, like, I think I'm gonna do that. Come here, you. Doop, 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 doop. Ha-da!
Okay, a 4. A 4 is like a 4 is good. Oh my gosh! Wait a minute. I think it's going to push up your corruption to 5 already.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Does it if it's part of the ritual roll and she has a white die that is equal to it? Because I know that was something that came up before.
No, and I think we looked that up, and I think it still pushes up the corruption.
Okay.
Yeah, let me double check. That's a really good question. I'm just gonna ask.
Hey, whatever. If I get corrupt in the first ring, I just get to spend the rest of the rings keep trying to kill all the other PCs. It's great.
And you did say that you were like,
well, yes. Although I will admit I was not planning to go corrupted in ring 1.
You know, speedrun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy. Considering Sarah has like survived all the way to the last ring. Okay, yeah, I double check. If you included a dark die and it rolled equal to or higher than your highest light die, it counts as a corruption roll. So
all right.
Yeah, so I double check. So your corruption goes up to 5, which means you can already start producing your corruption. We actually haven't even hit ring 1 yet, technically. This is just the
I will say that the alteration of your ruling about it, if it equals or also does it, is immediately having an impact.
Yeah. And it's so funny because my game yesterday was it? Oh my gosh, I can't keep track of days anymore. I think it was the day before. Yeah, it was the day before yesterday. The highest we got to, I think, was 4 by the end of the.
I mean,
all 5 rings, but yeah.
It's all based off RNG, is what happens.
Yeah.
And you're gonna get people that are gonna be sail through, and then you're gonna get people like me who RNG hates, and I'll be killing everybody in ring 1. It'll be great.
Sarah's dialogue heard equal to or higher, and was like, "Oh, I can get away with equal to."
No, that I actually, to be fair, when I heard that, I was like, "Oh shit." Well, this will be quick.
Yeah. So I'll say. This kind of makes sense that I wrote for a condition. Okay, but first tell me what the ritual looks like, and then we'll talk about what complication arises.
I think he puts both hands on either side of the tree, so he's facing it completely, and then some of what looked like leathers and looked like it was cloth chest actually unfurls away to show bare chest. And there is this line down his the front of his chest that actually unfurls and opens up, and there's almost like a suction effect, and some poor hapless soul gets pulled out of this tree and falls into his the chest cavity, which then snaps shut, so that he can, in theory, step away eventually and let this poor person out. Hopefully, if the corruption doesn't convince him otherwise.
Yeah, and so I think so we can. So what Josh said is a dark bargain is that you take something from them, right? I will say, what you see, ooh, Jamie, why are you thinking like this? What you see is the young Vashka. She's getting ready for this wedding day for a hand fasting, and the person that you sucked in was someone who helped with the preparations.
Okay.
So they very lovingly put together this crown of flowers, and they placed it on Vashka's head. And Vashka, her hair is long and white, her eyes are wide and dark, and you can see the frost magic just exuding from her. But she's very young and she's very nervous. And you can see that the person you sucked in, right, that you consumed, is telling her it'll be. What are you so nervous about, Vashka? You know that you love him more than anything. And Vashka says, I know I do, but am I being selfish? Is this the right thing to do? Should I let him go? Am I distracting him from what he needs to do? And that memory gets pulled into you and it leaves the other person. And you can sense it as it does. That person forgets how vulnerable Vashka is and starts to remember Vashka to be far more cold than she actually is.
Interesting. Okay.
That's fun.
Yeah. So the condition, as the corruption starts to show, a hunger begins building inside you. You can feel it. Even though, have you eaten before this point? Like, do you actually need to eat food? Or?
I don't think he needs to eat it. I think he has enough system that he can, but it isn't required. Being near the heart tree sustains him.
Right. So this is the first time you've ever felt like true hunger. Like you can feel it gnawing away from the inside. And you feel like this person, this memory has satisfied you for now. But you have a feeling that this hunger will continue to grow in some way.
I'm sure there won't be dire consequences from that. Never.
No, not at all. So I'm gonna write it down. Growing hunger. But yeah, and I'll say like the others can sort of see it. Like there's this, it just sort of exudes for a little bit. Like the eyes glow a little brighter, and then it goes back to normal. But I will also say, because of this, the other trees that were trying to swallow these people, they stop, right? All the trees stop, like as if they're afraid of what you've done. Does anyone else want to try to do something before we move on?
No, I think I'm good. Watching you go and eat a thing out of a tree. Trees that are trying to eat things.
Hey, in his defense, after a few moments, he will eject the poor person, and
I don't think that made it less weird.
Well, that's okay, because he wasn't trying to make it less weird, so
That's just how it is.
Yep. This is not my primary function. I may do with the abilities and skills that I was built with.
But yeah, most assuredly. I feel like at this point, if you just simply wanted to, because it's still early on and the corruption hasn't set in too much yet, if you wanted to save the rest, it would be fairly easy to do so at this point.
Oh, save the rest of the people in the trees? Oh, yeah, well, absolutely. I mean, if that's an option.
It is now. Like, so it is for now.
Jamie's like, I feel bad. You're already at corruption 5. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh, no. But, we haven't even hit the first ring. And really, like, it's supposed to be, it starts off like, not, I wouldn't say easy, but you do feel stronger in the first few rings compared to later. Yeah, I kind of feel like our duelist could, like, just sort of stab at the trees and let people out. I don't know.
Yeah, I could go ahead and assist in that.
Yeah, you don't even. There could be a complication.
Oh, isn't that nice how she's like, oh yeah, no, here's your free meal. Never mind, it's not free.
We're not even in the first ring, but if another one of you wants to risk corruption, feel free.
Yeah, let's see how many of us can get corrupted before ring 1.
All right, that's our new goal. Come on, let's do it.
Yeah. No. I still feel like whatever complication, it's not going to set in just yet. So just tell me how our duelist frees these souls from these trees and what it looks like.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I think he's going to use his sword, which he carries as a duelist, and I'm picturing something very much like a rapier, but more edged. And because Fey magic, it's definitely not metal. I think some other interesting material, maybe like glass or something clear and translucent and reflective.
Crystal?
Yeah, glass or crystal, something like that. And is just going to kind of skillfully cut away at the parts of the tree that are holding them in.
Cool. Yeah, and I feel like maybe it's made out of fire agate. Here, I'm just putting a picture of what fire agate looks like. But yeah, so you do so, and the trees easily give up what they have consumed. And as you do so, you notice that you see them as sort of like spirits that sort of form. And all these spirits, they look like they're on fire for a moment. You can see the flames consuming them, but soon they start crawling towards where they left behind their possessions. And then they go into a deep sleep, but they have returned physically. And I assume that our golem is going to do the same and let go of, just...
No, I'm not so corrupted. I'm like, I'm just going to keep this Fae. I'm going to eat her.
Yeah.
Got a collection.
Well, because you could do a reduction roll. You could justify that you need to keep her for now.
No, see, I think this is going to be the problem. Is I think Shade's not really that interested in ruining his forest. So my options are either I ruin my forest by going corrupted, or I ruin my forest by corrupting it.
Oh, what if you're keeping them inside to keep them safe?
That could work. Let's try the greater good.
Yeah, exactly. Safe.
No, I don't think so. I think he's going to let it go.
Okay. Let me know if you have an idea for a reduction roll later. No worries.
Yeah.
So just to explain to everyone watching, a reduction roll is a way to ease corruption, but a reduction roll would have to mean doing any of the following. So destroying a sacred area of the forest, preventing the use of rituals, sabotaging your fellow Fae, or anything similar. The vampire lords demand you do these acts in a way that does not draw attention to yourself, or you find a way to justify your actions. The more it looks like an accident, simple bad luck, or necessary for the greater good, the better. So we shall see. So with that, we move on to actual ring one.
Bye. It was nice knowing all you guys. I'm going in this ring.
Are you gonna go look at the creepy thing that's gonna corrupt you?
Heck yeah!
Okay. So as you step forward, those you have saved are grateful, and they're able to leave the forest on their own. And I'm double checking, right? Our golem released the other one. So
yes, he released the other one.
Yeah. So she also returns. She looks at our golem, and she places a hand on your face and says, "Thank you. I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't come along, but thank you." And she leaves to join the rest. And so as you step into the choir forest, you are reminded that it is the height of summer, and the air is thick with the heat of it. As you arrive, you can hear the continuing sounds of joyous celebration and cheer. You know that you must seek out the dryads and protect the heart trees. You know that the vampires have infiltrated somehow, because what happened with the trees has to be a sign of their corruption if they had consumed those innocents that you saved. And you know that this corruption hides and whispers beneath the surface. So as soon as you enter this ring, and I would say that Shade is familiar with this sensation, connected as you are to the heart trees, you can feel the heart trees reach out to you. You can hear the soft sound of many heartbeats, hundreds of them, thrumming in unison, filling the air. The vibrations sink in deep, and your hearts soon beat at the same languid rhythm. So the heart trees are still relaxed. You can sense that they don't know what's coming. As you step forward, you see a dryad break through the trees, and he slowly walks towards you. He has long tendrils. The flowers around his face are small and delicate. His eyes are large and wide, but he looks like he's in a daze. And as he walks towards you, his bark is shivering. There's heat that's coming off of him in waves. He breathes in and he breathes out, and it smells like sulfur leaving the body. And you can see that he's starting to burn up as he reaches out towards you, confused as to what's happening. What do you do?
That is a good question.
Do the dryads exist separately from the trees as well? Like, is every dryad bound to a tree, or are there dryads that are not bound to trees?
That's a good question. So, yeah, I want to ask the group that question. What do we think? Are the dryads connected? I like the idea of each dryad is connected to a tree, but what do we think?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the assumption that I was mentally under. Then there's the words. Each dryad has a tree interconnected. If the dryad's harmed, the tree's harmed, vice versa, type thing.
Mm-hmm.
The only and now I know I am game crossing here. The only reason why I was kind of hesitant about that is because typically in most mythologies, when a dryad is bound to a tree, they can't go very far from it.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had in the Brinkwood games several instances of dryads who are way the heck away from their tree.
True. I mean, maybe that just implies there's some way to sever that bond without actually killing the dryad.
Or maybe they don't have a physical limit too.
Or maybe now they do, but in the future, they've sort of lost that connection. You were going to say something, Veronica?
Oh, I kind of like the idea of it being sort of like a familiar, where you can be away from it, but your power is impacted by the further away you are, and severing that bond has a severe impact.
So really the dryad is familiar then. Let's be honest.
The familiar, maybe the dryad's the familiar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, 1 second. I just have to answer the phone. 1 second.
I'm going to eat another Starburst then in the meantime.
Tasty snack.
Yeah.
Did I close that? Where'd it go?
I don't know. What did you close?
I didn't. It's on a different tab.
I feel kind of like a Muppet when I do that.
Okay, so we were in the middle of discussing that there's a way to. So it shows that this dryad has been like disconnected painfully somehow. Is that what we're thinking?
Yeah, it definitely seems like they're in distress.
Yeah, and so I would say I feel like. I kind of feel like Sayla would be able to do something in this situation, like to
her being like worried at the distress and wanting to like comfort the dryad at least.
Yeah, because I have a feeling like with the Fae, there's something about their words and their charm and their beauty that's inherently magical, that can be healing at the same time. Not like us boring humans. Let
me pull up the dice now that you've said that.
Okay, so would you like to use a skill or a ritual? What are you feeling?
My character. I think she'll use music. I think she might go for just something soothing. And try to calm whatever's distressing the dryad.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that sounds good. So that's 1 white die for music. And shall we offer our bargains so that we can have an extra die? I'm like thinking, they're your ex. Anyway, like, um, we did that yesterday and the other day with another game. With this game, I mean. My bargain for you is, ooh, that someone else hears the song. Someone who is not of the Fae.
Oh, you're so mean.
That's fun. That's a good one.
Okay, anything from Josh or Sarah?
My thought is, if this succeeds, you are going to soothe this poor sad dryad who is probably not long for this world. But by being there and your power easing their moving on, it's going to link your power up to their tree.
Ooh.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's cool.
I think that even makes sense as a bargain. Like, no matter what happens, right? Like, just by singing to them, just by connecting to them.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm,
That's really cool. That's really cool.
Don't worry, you still get that even if it fails.
Yay!
Well, which is what the devil's bargain is. But yes.
yeah.
True.
Gosh, yeah. No, I think I'm gonna tap out on this round. Those are
Sure.
are good.
Yeah.
They are. They are both really good. And this may be just me being like, I really don't want to be stuck next to that tree. I'm going to go with the somebody overhearing. I like that. I like the idea that someone that shouldn't hear that bit of Fey magic is going to hear it.
Yeah. But I like what Sarah established. Maybe it can happen later, like in another.
We'll bring it back. We'll bring it back. How's that?
Yeah.
And then
I really like it.
2 white dice, or do I take a dark die for the bargain?
Ooh, it's another white die for the. Oh my gosh, bless you, Matthew. That's another white die for the bargain.
Okay.
We used a dark die earlier because it was a ritual. If you want to risk body, heart, or mind, you can use a dark die, but we can just roll with 2 dice first. Two white dice.
Come on.
I don't think I've ever
we
rolled
go.
a roll that is just 2 white die.
I don't know how I feel about a 3, so I will take that dark die.
Sure. Okay.
Come
so
on,
we're
roll a
risking-
4, roll a 4, roll a 4.
Oh no, I rolled a 5.
Sweet!
So I will take
see
my
you're-
corruption and my win.
So we may not make it to ring 5.
See
Anyway.
what it is, Jamie, is that, like, last game you did the if you roll at or above, you can go up, and it worked fine. Now you're seeing what happens when that doesn't work fine.
Yeah, though to be fair, she did roll a 5, so it was really like.
Well,
super
yeah,
high.
no.
But
I
yeah,
mean,
get
at
it, I
this
get it.
point, if I had rolled a 5, I'd be trying to kill all of you.
Yeah, and the main reason I changed it is because I noticed like some of the players get confused about what is it equal to, what is it higher, what is it lower. Like it was,
Mhm.
Yeah.
considering there's so few rules. But yeah, but anyway, that's what playtesting is for. We
Oh,
shall
yeah.
see.
Oh,
And I will talk to a math person who actually knows numbers. But yeah, so our corruption goes up. Ooh. Okay, so tell me what the ritual looks like. Like, how does it happen? How do you charm and soothe this person?
It's just she is kind of like not quite a lullaby. It's just kind of a gentle. It's the sort of music you would put on, like when you need that lullaby sort of thing, but are past your parents singing to you. So it's very low and melodic, and words kind of blend into just sound, to just kind of give a distraction to his mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll say that they respond to you, and they're like, so they were in a daze, but as you start singing to him, he starts to come back into focus, and you can feel the heat starting to disperse. The sulfuric smell fades, and he starts singing along with you very softly at first, but it starts to gain in momentum. And he looks at you, and I'll say the complication is that he recognizes you. Like, where does he recognize you from?
Let's see. What sort of trouble would she have gotten herself into?
Have you maybe participated in these like events before?
Oh, probably, but I don't know that he recognizes her from that
Okay.
so much as there were humans in the forest, and she was playing with them, and they thought that she was causing the like chaos they were running into, so they were getting like more and more confused and lost in the forest, and then they realized that it was because she was messing with them. And so they tried to chase her to get as like a, hey, get us out of this forest. And she ran into the dryad fleeing from them.
Right. And so he had to, let's say that he helped you at that time.
He helped the humans get out of the forest without being too mad at her that he had made them get lost.
Oh my goodness.
And he looks at you and he smiles a little wryly.
Fine.
No, it's fine.
He looks surprised. Not that he thought you were a bad person, but like he looks a little surprised, and he says, "A Fae Guardian now," because I'd say there's something about you that the Fae can recognize if you have become one of the Guardians. And he looks surprised, definitely, that you are now a Guardian. But he nods.
You?
Kinda. Like he goes,
What
this one?
What were the elders thinking?
Yeah. We must be really desperate. I'm kidding. No, it's not bad. We just tease humans. It's fine.
Oh, is it that bad?
It wasn't that bad. Nah. So yeah, it's totally fine. But yeah, so he thanks you, and he looks around and he says, "Where are the rest of the Fae Guardians? It seems dire. There's something wrong with the heart trees. I do not know what." And he's obviously expecting there to be dozens more of you, but you know that there is only you three.
I don't know that I want to break it to him that it's just us.
You could lie to him. You could comfort him.
That's true.
They're on the way.
Yeah.
They're in a different part of the forest. I mean, it depends on how much you want to lie to him.
Not so much a lie, but she will tell him that they aren't here just now, but she thinks they're helping.
Yeah. And so as you say,
very, very reassuring. The golem is like, I am not reassured.
Yeah, the golem just a flat gaze, just turns.
And you see the dry completely misses it because he's so desperate to believe.
Yeah, he doesn't want to even he doesn't want to hear the unsurety or the quaver or no tunnel vision. Hope is there.
Oh, it's just these ones that are right here. Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. Oh, but Shade, if you want that reduction roll, maybe you could just be honest with him.
Ooh.
That'll be so sad.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be honest with him. Because it also makes sense because I'm a golem who doesn't quite have the same kind of emotions and priorities.
Not constructed with tact in mind.
Not really. No. I'm trying to figure out.
But are you okay with this, Veronica, though? Just checking.
Yeah.
Like if it's all right.
Oh, okay, yeah.
No, totally.
So that's one white die, and all you need to do is roll lower than 5.
You say that now. Come on, 6. Oh, okay. No, I actually get to go down 1.
Hey.
You feel the hunger that was twisting inside you. It wanders for a moment. What would he taste like? But then it fades.
Yeah, he's too thin. He wouldn't be very, very yummy.
Absolutely. Okay, so that finishes ring 1. Is there anything we would like to do before we move deeper into the forest?
I don't think so. None of the rest of us are at a point that we need reduction. So longer.
Not yet.
Well, I mean, I'm still at 4, so we'll see.
Don't worry, I'll get back there.
Fine.
Oh, don't worry. Next roll I make, I'll be back up to 5. It's great. I have a lot of faith in my dice. Can you tell?
So as you move deeper into the forest, you can see that perhaps the most disturbing thing for our guardians is that no one truly realizes the danger that they are in. The other Fae, a lot of them are caught up in the celebrations. You can see that there are other Fae who are trying to convince the rest to leave or to get out of the way before the vampire lords come. But everyone here is very confident that there's no way the vampire lords and their armies could get into the Choir Forest. There's no way that the heart trees would falter and fall in the face of these things. The dryads are strong, and the Fae Guardians are here to protect us. And
I just want to walk up as one of the Fae Guardians, look at them, go.
Run.
do you want to try to do that? Like convince them?
Yeah, no, I think I do.
Yeah, and I mean, just to couple that, I was sort of considering the same thing of not like inspiring them to despair, but
Doing your ex firebrand.
Yeah. The
Yes,
you should go for your own safety.
Do you want to take point on that?
I was considering using the song ritual to go with that.
If you want to do it, I'm happy to let you have the spotlight. Feel free.
Okay,
You can roll that corruption roll.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
stay over here.
Yeah, I feel like the subtitle is like corrupt along with me.
It's about time.
Join me here.
Yeah.
You're just at corruption 3. Like there's like
No, exactly.
Okay, Josh. So our goal now is we get corrupted, leave Veronica pure and whole at the end.
Oh, great.
my God.
Yeah, let's leave the one that just got promoted because she was adorable but likes messing with people to be in charge of this.
It'll be
Yeah, no,
fine.
that's
What
it.
could
It'll be fine.
possibly
It'll
go
be
wrong?
fine.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
It'll be great.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Okay. So
if that's cool, I would like to attempt to inspire them, and it's not like an inspirational speech of we're gonna win, because we're not. But I think it's very much kind of centered around, look after the ones you care about, stay safe.
Keep your head
Focus
down.
on that. You should leave here. It's not safe here. Stay safe.
no, I like that a lot. Yeah. So that is 1 dark die. Do you
Mhm.
feel like you have a skill
Uh,
that could help?
I'm gonna
actually, you have
say probably inspiration.
Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, I was trying to move the dice in the StreamYard. That's not how it works. Okay. Okay, my brain. So that's 2 die. Do we have any bargains to offer
Tasty bargains.
our duelist? Ooh, there's so much we can do with a despairing firebrand.
Oh yeah. Jeez.
My bargain for you is that one of the Fae will be so inspired by you, so captivated by you, that they'll follow you and try to assist you.
Oh,
One way to make sure you're safe.
They're just drawn to your heartbreak, to your darkness. Yeah, so they're so forlorn. So that's my offer. Do we have any other offers?
That's fun.
You can be mean. I feel like that's a.
I
Twist that
think
knife.
I think that you are going your speech is going to be rousing. It is going to touch the hearts of many, and it is going to turn a lot of heads, and they're going to respect you. And I think in the shadows somewhere is a young vampire who was watching this whole situation, and now this vampire is very interested in you specifically.
Oh, that's also fun.
Ooh.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
and I kind of wonder, did this vampire come because they were called by the song earlier?
Oh no.
Ooh.
Give it creepy.
Oh, that's really good. All coming together.
Yeah, no, I can't do better than that. I got it.
That's fine. Yeah, I think we'll have to go with the vampire one.
Yeah, I like it. And then it'll tie into Sayla and the song earlier. Ooh, okay. So let's go ahead and take I was gonna do it again. I was gonna click in the streamer again. So that is 2 white die and a dark die. You can go ahead and roll that.
Alrighty, let's roll those.
Oh my
Darn.
gosh. Okay, this is Wow. In this game, it's so hard to fail usually, but you can't re-roll because the highest one is the dark deck. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. With the vampire
It's so hard
there.
to fail, but you guys are doing great at it.
Yeah, corruption 4. Here we go.
Oh my gosh, wait, no. Do you hit corrupt? Oh yeah, because it's
Yeah,
equal
I'm
to-
at 4 now.
Damn. Okay. So tell me, shoot. This is gonna be a short game. The one that we're recording, right? Like no one's gonna believe me when I say most of them survived all the time. Okay, so what does it look like when you attempt this ritual?
So it's song, so there's definitely an oratory component to it, and I think bringing in the flame motif I've been working with, not like breathing fire per se, but like there's something about the sound that's coming out that is, I think, like hot, too warm, maybe too hot, because clearly what I'm trying to tell these people is not clicking in the right way.
No, in fact, I'll say that it's the opposite. Like what happens is you inspire them to take up arms and go deeper into the forest to fight. I think that's how it fails instead. Like
Oh no!
instead of going to safety, they were like, yes. Like
Too
did you
far.
say Rador or Brador or gosh?
Brador.
Yeah, Brador. Brador is right. We must fight for what's important to us. We must do what we can to protect what is precious. Like that's what they took from it instead of like, going for these things and so you can see them and you can looking at them. They are not armed. They don't have any weapons.
No.
Most of them don't look like fighters. A lot of these are artists,
Yeah.
and they were not chosen to be guardians. So it's not like they're as strong as Sayla or anything like that. So, but they all go, and you see the vampire in the distance. You can recognize them for what they are. They're just standing there, and they take one long look at you. And what they look like is they have like, so it's like dark hair, a very severe kind of haircut, and like these angular, like you could cut paper with these cheekbones kind of situation. And the haircut accents that, and their outfit is kind of like military-esque, very severe. But when they smile at you, it's very warm.
No, I don't like that.
Yeah, and they follow the rest in the distance.
Oh no, I really don't like that. No.
I just now have this desire to like the next time that we play like a half breed of Josh's character and this vampire now.
Oh my gosh, taking notes.
Oh no.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to. Oh wait, did I? Oh no, did I give Sayla a condition last time? Did Sayla get a condition?
Oh no, I did not.
Yeah. We'll just Ooh, I'm like, ooh. Okay, I'm gonna offer this condition. No one has to take it. Who wants to have a condition of falling in love with the vampire that passes through?
I want to point at Josh.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say I can't take that from Josh.
I'm definitely open to it. I think it's kind of a sense of. I mean, vampires have a uncanny charisma to them all themselves. So I think it makes a lot of sense that this despairing former firebrand and trying to encourage people to flee, stay safe, and they're like, yeah, let's go fight the vampires. And it's sort of like this. I don't know. Power vacuum isn't quite the right word, but like the vampire shows up and is just captivated in a bad way, but.
Sarah's face through that
Powerful.
whole explanation.
It makes me so happy.
Yeah, I'm good to take that condition.
Okay, so we have despairing love, and I'll say like it starts off very like it's just this moment like I feel like your character doesn't even recognize its
Mhm.
attraction or love. It's this magnetism.
Yeah, the
that just
spark
draws
has
you.
been lit.
Yeah, and so okay. Yeah, I remember I was looking at the conditions and I forgot to say what was going to happen to Salem. My bad. So I'll say like in this moment, as you see the rest get caught up in the song and in the speech, and they start moving away. And I'll say that you're so distracted you don't even see the vampire lord, because as people move away, you suddenly notice, this is the second time I'm going to throw a ghost at Veronica, I realize. You see a pale vision.
Woof, woof.
Yeah, a pale vision of someone. Tell me about your lover that you lost.
Oh, are you sure? Are you sure it's? Can I counter the lover and offer you her lost or her dead twin?
Ooh.
Oh yeah.
I like both. I like both. Yeah. Which one would you prefer for Selah?
I like the dead twin.
Yeah.
And
Okay, so tell me about them. Mm-hmm.
It was brother, so fraternal twins. And he was in some ways very much like her, and in some ways kind of like her opposite. So they played off of each other very well. And a lot of what now is like mischief from her was balanced really well by him. And she sort of lost that, and so she's out of that balance. Like he's the piece that kept her level.
He's the straight man.
Yeah.
And so you see him, and he looks at you quite sadly, and he just very silently, he just asks you to follow him.
Bye. We'll never see you again.
Right? Like I don't know that she could resist following him. I don't think she can. He was always like the calm to her chaos. So and she's a little impulsive.
Yeah. So I'll say that the rest of you see Selah walk deeper into the forest, but it's in the same direction of where you were headed to, where you know the hard trees are, and so Selah's brother urges you forward. And the thing is, like, he always looks like he's right ahead of you. You never see him turn around and walk, but each time you blink, he's a little farther away as he asks you to follow. And as the three of you get closer, you can hear music drifting through the trees. I will say that the vampire lord and that group went in horribly the wrong direction, by the way. Like, whatever they wanted to do, it's even in the wrong direction. I'll like
I mean, like,
they're out there trying their best.
Vampire Lord, not so good that all the Fae went in the wrong direction.
Yeah. It's a double-edged sword. But where you're headed, music drifts through the trees and animated voices fill the air. This part of the forest is filled with dozens of honored guests, and the guardians, and all of us recognize these are like royalty among the Fae. There are a lot of nobles, there are servants, because this ceremony was really meant to be quite a grand event. And so what you see laid out before you is there's a great feast. The most luxurious of food is offered and beautifully displayed. But as the three of you get closer, and this is where Selah's brother starts to point ominously towards something. And I'll say only Selah can see him, like no one else can.
I was going to ask.
Yeah. And so it's kind of like, you notice like no one has brought up the ghostly brother. And so you realize you're the only one who can see him. And he points towards the table where the feasting is happening. And as someone picks up fruit and another one picks up more food, you can see that there are bones and flesh that's underneath all of this.
That
gross.
Something they should be eating.
Don't eat that.
Yeah. And as you realize what's happening, a soft, heady scent overwhelms the senses, and you can feel the heart trees reaching out to all of you again. The heartbeats are coming stronger and louder this time. And as you realize what the heart trees are fearing, there's something dark and bloody that's hiding in the food. It's shifting and it's moving, it's slithering, and it's caressing the decadent food. And you can see, like, always at the exact moment when people turn away, like that's when it rears up and it looks like it's about to strike one of the guests. And so I will ask a question. Which one of us sees the fae that this thing is about to strike? You actually wouldn't mind them being eaten.
Ooh.
Who would like to answer that question?
So I'm definitely game for it if nobody else wants to.
I'm hesitant for just given who and what I am.
I just don't have a good idea of the fae. So if you've got an idea of who that fae would be.
I'm thinking one possibility, maybe like a rival duelist who bested me.
Ooh. Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Can you say to your fire, what are they? Water, ice, what do you prefer? Or something else? Crystal?
Yes, water or ice would be good, probably.
Yeah. So to your fire agate, you can see that their sword is made of blue lace agate. Instead, it's a very delicate set of white and blues. It almost looks like webbing, and they have long, dark, black blue hair, and she has very like sharp eyes. The moment she sees you, so you see the thing rising up, and everyone is like ignoring it. It's always like exactly at the blind spot of people's visions. You can tell that this creature, can sense when it's not being looked at by the rest of the guests, and her eyes lock with yours, and there's a bit of a sneer on her features. And she looks incredibly well dressed. You can tell that she has moved up in the world. She is quite high in the court, and she is surrounded by her admirers. What do you do?
Oh,
Matthew's looking at me. I know that trick. That's all my tricks. Go ahead.
Let me know if you want me to take this one too, because I do have some thoughts. But if you
want
to intervene,
if words, please cooperate. I mean, my initial idea is either striking at the evil corruption food, because I'm not corrupted yet, and I think there's a moment of, you may have bested me, but if I save you,
you owe me your life.
Right, it's there's honor to it. So either striking as a duelist, or if I think he's feeling particularly rash, just lighting it all on fire.
We went from dueling
with fire.
So much fire.
I like both ideas.
Yeah. But what were you thinking?
My thought was literally to table flip.
I mean, that doesn't preclude us from setting it on fire.
Yeah, no,
that's true. It does not preclude us from setting it on fire, but I figure if we dump the food over, A, all these hoity-toity nobles are not going to want to keep eating, which is good, and B, whatever this thing is going to get really upset, which is less good, but still good.
I will say, the last time nobles were eating something weird that Jamie had come up with, and we lit it on fire, it turned into blood flowers.
Yeah, but the things they were eating were also making them high. I don't think that's what's happening here.
There's no vampires doing it in the corner.
Yeah.
Why did you remind me of that?
What if, like,
fairly quickly?
Yeah, no, Wolf had places to be. And vampires to kill.
What if, like, we both did? So what I'm kind of picturing is Brador goes and quickly strikes at the one thing, and then Shade just comes in immediately after and flips the whole table, so it looks extra cool for everybody involved.
Works for me.
Yeah, I like it. So,
partners in crime.
Yeah. So whoever wants to take the lead, I feel like Shade is kind of taking the lead if it's about table flipping. But I'm open to suggestions.
Doesn't matter to me either way.
Yeah. Like I'm fine with that. Also, I could see having Brador role because he's trying to stop
I
the
see.
thing from striking his rival.
You have an
Sure.
you have an exceptionally like active goal versus me, where I am just trying to mitigate.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Okay. So in that case, I think we should start with Brador. So are we going with fire?
I think I'm gonna go duelist.
Sure.
So I'm gonna use my sword.
Okay.
And
So
it would taste so much sweeter to save my rival with my sword.
He places it just so it looks like it's coming at her, and then like just misses her. And
Yeah,
kills
just right past.
Yeah. Oh, that's super hot. I like it. So that is 1 white die. By the way, like when I push dice towards you, if you're superstitious, you can just get it.
Cool.
I don't want you to feel like I'm forcing dice.
No, I appreciate
so 1
it.
white die. And let's offer our bargains. Ooh. My bargain for you is that vampire lord is watching. They're like sitting up in the trees, another beautifully dressed in something else, but they're just there to watch.
Oh, do they change outfits every scene?
Oh yeah! Oh my gosh, for sure.
Oh,
that is what they are doing.
Perfect.
Are we limited on how many characters, NPCs, etc., can be in love with Josh's character?
No, because that's definitely one of the ways that I was going. But you go ahead.
Okay, so I was, apropos of nothing, was having a conversation with my boss about the whole coaching thing, and like, after having a conversation with my employee, had heard things that my boss says to me come out of my mouth, and I was like, oh God, I've become my boss. And now I'm having a moment where, oh God, I've become my GM.
I was choked in my water.
Do it.
I will offer you that as you are going to strike this creature down behind. Did we give her a name?
Not yet.
Not yet. Oh, I will look up names. Go ahead.
As you go to strike this creature down behind her, right before you hit it, you catch her eye just in such a way that you realize, like, even though she sort of sneers at you, it hides this like vulnerability where she had this attachment and she thought that you guys could really be something together. So it's not so much like romantic love as okay, we can make it super tragic and make her Ophelia. We'll find her drowning in a later, but it's fine. So you catch that moment where like you realize that she thought you could be like something synergistic, and yet it became antagonistic, and it hurts her.
Ooh, so good. I'm so proud.
I rolled a vampire.
I was going to go a slightly different route, but similar to V. Mine was a little less, I guess, a little less heartbreaking. My bargain.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's fine. It is really close to yours though, because my idea was like, the bargain was, as you lunge past her and kind of pull her out of the way, there is definitely this moment where your eyes meet and lock, and I'm gonna pull a moment of thirsty sword lesbians here. And that's actually like in all the dueling, it's always been very it's always conscripted, or not conscripted. That's not the word I want. Scripted. It's always been scripted. Like the rules are very specific. So it gets heated because you two have been fighting, but not like significantly. But this is the first time where you're both like eye to eye, eyes locked, all these emotions going, and it's right now that you click.
Ooh, I want to combine Sarah and Veronica bargain. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Emotions.
Yeah, no, I want that. I want that tragedy. But I want the vampire to be there too.
I think you just combined all like either V's and Jammies, or combined all three of them. And just call it a day.
What if we just start setting up an elaborate love triangle that's around Brador? He's not like a point in it, just in the middle.
Yes.
I will say you can choose one, and then I will offer the others a complication, maybe if you roll that.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with the rival then.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like
In this moment, that makes the most sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Ooh, I don't want to give you the one. Okay. I'm just being superstitious. So that is 2 white die.
Right.
Why don't you go ahead and roll? We'll see.
Here we go. Hey, that's a 5.
Ooh,
Hey.
nice.
We can stick to the 5. You know?
I'm gonna keep
Yeah.
the 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I did have a game where someone got a 5 and she kept adding dark dice to it. And she didn't get, like, she rolled 5 times in total, I think. I have to double check. And the highest she got was a 3 after that. Like, it was just pure.
Oh, yeah, no, that's bad. Just take the 5.
Yep.
Keep the 5.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll see with that complication. So it is as Sarah and Veronica described. You lunge forward, like the sword just suddenly appears in your hand, and for a moment she thinks, "Is this fool attacking me? How dare he?" But your sword rings true, like it it goes straight through the foul creature that's slowly forming. But she takes out her sword, like in reaction, realizes what you're doing and assists you, but you're so close. Your breath intermingles. You can feel the heat coming off of both of you, and that's when you realize all of this time were you just wasting your time seeing each other as rivals?
I love it.
And as it starts to dawn on you, we're going to throw in the complication. You see our vampire. Yeah, she's in this like beautiful dress. The military design is still somewhat there on the upper part, but it just turns into this beautiful dress. But there's a design of fire down below. You feel like she is showing you signs of what is to come. And she smiles and she mouths something to you, but you can't quite make out the words. And when you blink, she's not there anymore. But yeah, so I will say at this, everybody panics. They sort of realize what is happening. They see the thing. You notice like half of them are panicking and the other half are unperturbed. Like they just continue eating. They continue talking.
They've eaten too much of it.
Yeah, and the others are trying to stop them. People are panicking. Do you want to try to do something, or are you with this, or would you like to press forward? You could leave the rival to help out, but how are you feeling? Like what would Silva or Sayla or Shade like to do?
Do you have something you want to do, Sarah? Because I have an idea.
Yeah, I don't, and I don't know that any of even my rituals or my skills are necessarily applicable to this particular scenario. So if you have an idea, go for it.
I think she's going to try and use charm to sort of fight this. So there's like a supernatural or corrupt pull for these fae. She's going to try and pull them back.
Oh, I like this so much. That's such a good use of it. Very cool. Yeah, so this is a ritual. Let me I like this so much. So we have 1 dark die. I'm sure you have a skill that can assist.
Yeah, I don't know that it's gonna, not to just like totally tap on music. I don't know that it's really gonna fall into like music, but it would be like performance. So we're gonna stick with the kind of little bit of playful bardicness, where it's maybe not even like totally melodic, but it is like a story of like a heroic fae. So something that is to keep it like kind of like the first one was a lullaby. This is kind of like a fairy tale. It's an urban legend-y thing that about a fae ancestor.
Cool. I feel like we're building up for your character to do an epic towards the end. That's cool.
Right? But it's going to be for the vampires and we all end up corrupted.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So let us offer our bargains. I'll say, let's see, in this situation, as you sing, my bargain for you is that you'll see that your ghostly brother does not approve.
You're always such a dick.
Terrible. Anyway, that's mine. Are there any other bargains on the table?
Do you have one, Josh?
I'm thinking of one.
I can go if you need some extra time to think.
Yeah. What was the name of the ritual you're using again?
Charm.
Charm. That's right.
Yeah,
So
go ahead. Yeah. Mhm.
my bargain is that so there's this nasty thing that's in the food, and it's not really a vampire. It might have been. I'm not sure exactly where it came from, but as it is in the current form it's in, its mental abilities are not fantastic, and it can't focus on a lot of things. So when it has this beguiling music go over it, it becomes attracted and obsessed with that music.
Nope. Do that touch. Nope.
That's so good though, but yeah, I understand not wanting to touch it.
Mhm.
So I don't want it to touch me. I'm not going to touch
I
it.
don't think it was going to be her trying to touch it. I think it was
Okay.
going to be following. Like, my thought was it just starts following you, not so much as like trying to physically make contact.
Right. Ooh, ooh.
Yeah,
good.
that's kind of close to what I was starting to think of. Less directly the food corruption presence thing, but maybe, well, kind of, but more of it while it's, because it's potentially been consumed by some of these Fey nobles. So in a way, it's also beguiled, but that results in the Fey nobles getting beguiled and particularly charmed.
Right. Like maybe there's one noble or a set of them that that are twisted more. Yeah, I like it. So will we take any of these bargains? We can also tweak or edit them as you like.
No, I like how the ones from Josh and Sarah play off each other. That it is in a few of these nobles, or maybe one or two like noticeable impacts, that the corruption is really what's like, ooh, that's pretty.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we have 3 die. You can go ahead and roll these.
All right.
What ring are we on?
Let me double check my notes.
Oh,
Oh, what did we roll? Oh,
Ooh.
5.
Corruption's going up. That's what we rolled.
yep. Everything's a 5.
Oh my
Not a
God.
5 happening right now.
I mean, you could re-roll it because it's not the dark die is not the highest one, but yeah, I'll leave it up to you.
I feel like that is a gamble that is not going to necessarily have the best payout for me. So I think I will take my 5 and my further corruption, and just hopefully find something to mess with, or turn and kill you all.
No, that's my job. Do not steal it from me.
It's a race to who can end up corrupted first.
Okay, so if Shane ends up with the mask, I'm really gonna laugh.
I'm gonna be so upset. Well, no, I am not gonna be upset, but I am going to make lots of noises if I end up with the mask again. V's like, yep, that's my plan.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
My plan was to have you involved in the marriage ritual.
Okay, so to answer your question earlier, Sarah, we are only on ring 2, but the other rings the next ring's gonna be short.
No, I wasn't worried about timing. I was just genuinely curious.
Yeah. But we'll take a break right after this. So, but yeah, so your corruption goes up. Tell me what it looks like when you cast this ritual. How are they enamored with you, and what happens to them?
So there's a rhythm to this particular story that it isn't a melody, but it does get almost like hypnotizing. And so as they get more and more in it, not only are they picturing this character that's always been in their heads as like a hero and something to aspire to be as a fae, but it also just gets like a little hypnotizing, which is what actually draws the creature. So the creature doesn't have like this is a cool story about this fae legend. It just hears the rhythmic pattern to the
like
story.
in response to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this Fey legend, this is a famous person that everyone can think of. I'll say that the complication is, so it works. Everyone is free of this charm of whatever the creature was doing to it, but the creature starts to shift and change. It starts to grow taller. It starts to take on a more humanoid form, and it looks exactly like the Fae of legend because it's feeding off
Ooh.
and I'll say they look really great. They look super like awesome.
Oh no.
And the creature
They won't eat him.
and curtsies,
Hopefully. Wait.
and their eyes linger on your face. I am here to serve, it says. And that's your condition. So so you have a ghost of twin brother, but you also have I'm just gonna type goofy Fey legend.
Really good.
What conditions did you end up last time you played? Well, I had a goopy Fey legend.
And you can see your brother looks shocked, and when that creature locks eyes with your brother, so it's the only other one that can see him, your brother suddenly vanishes for the moment.
He does not like that.
I mean, fair. Understandable.
Yeah. So that will end on that note, because I think you were able to successfully break everyone out of their trance. The rest will leave. I think you're going to see a few people forcing themselves, like, what? It's not necessary. Yeah. I just love the idea of nobles going, bah. But anyway, so we're going to go ahead and take a break.
I have a mechanics question really quick.
Sure.
Before we do. I know it's come up a couple of times where we've been like, oh, well, I feel like I could do something that like works well with that. Have we thought about any way, like it doesn't necessarily have to be like a teamwork, but ways that people can.
I know, yeah, because like you have more reasons as Fey Guardians to work synergistically, right? Compared to the original, like what Josh brought up. Yeah, I think at this point, because like it felt so natural earlier between the golem and our duelist, right? I'm really gonna have to insert assistance roles. I'll have to think about. I'll really have to think about how to work, because I wanted to help. I wanted to mean something mechanically, but I don't want it to like outdo. I have to think about the math. But definitely, I want to
have a risk too. Like that's what I was kind of rolling around in my head. Like, do you make it another dark die? Do you make it a dark die that could potentially impact the helping player? Like, do they roll a dark die that can be added to yours if you need that number? But again, if they hit their corruption number, they take it.
Or maybe it adds a white die to represent that you're being helped. But if the person rolling gets a corruption success, both characters take the corruption.
That's another,
something like that. Yeah.
Both. Oh, good thing we're recording this. I could like go back to this part.
Yeah.
For the next test, I'm definitely going to put, because it just keeps coming up, right? It feels very natural.
Yeah.
It does.
There's more opportunity.
Yeah, for sure.
We definitely kind of have a built-in desire to work with each other because we're all working for a common goal.
Yeah. And also there could be that interesting flip of, but also corrupting each other at the same time. Like,
yeah, there's that too.
It's really cool. I like it. All right. So, but let's go ahead and take that break. Do you guys want a 5-10 minute break? Like, I'm thinking about how late it is. So,
yeah, I'm fine with whatever.
Yeah, I don't need terribly much. I'm going to get more tea and probably take a bio break. So.
Yeah, that's about all I'm going to do as well. So I think 5 minutes is probably okay.
Yeah, should be good.
Cool. All right, see you guys in 5.
All right.
Hello, hello. I love those pajamas. They look so comfy. They look so good. So, Wow, we are getting into bad territory. I'm just
Wait,
reading
what?
ahead. No, I'm looking at the ring. Ooh, okay.
I just come back and all I hear is we're getting into bad territory.
Yeah, for me, you were here earlier because I was talking about how I loved your pajamas. So. Oh, sorry.
They're my penguins.
I love it. It's so cute. Every time I see penguins in real life, I'm like, But yeah. Okay. So how are you feeling? This is also our check-in. How do we feel the story's going so far for our characters?
Oh, this is
great.
this is such a delightful destruction and corruption, and it's horrific and it's fantastic. Also, thanks Josh for going along with getting you into a love triangle there.
Yeah, no, that's fun.
So good, so good. I need a map. So far we have a rival duelist and a vampire lord who are absolutely by our despairing firebrand. It's so apt. Okay, so
Stop being so desirable.
Yeah.
It's that fire heat.
Is that a new condition I have to add? You are.
Did you just make a hot pun?
No. No, I would never do a thing like that, ever.
Yeah.
Look at this straight face. Look at it.
Very straight.
Absolutely believable. Yeah.
I do actually, I enjoy the changed mechanic so far, as much as it's been great, we're at 5 again. I think it puts a pressure on the, and I am also not the type that has much dialogue, that we had kept it off so it was all happening climactically at the end where you would have that corruption. So I think that in both of the games that I've played previously, we ended up with corruption at the very end. This one feels like the pressure's on a little bit more. We may slip and lose someone even earlier.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll take note of that. So, but
I mean, it, as a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, not in a good way.
Yeah, I think
we lose ourselves to corruption.
I think it's just one of those it makes it more of a gamble, which means that we're using our powers a little less. We're not just using them as frivolously, which is good. But I think the only and again I err on the cautious side because that's how I am. The only caution that I worry about is that if you get a day where you're running a small game where you only have 3 people like this and everybody screws their rolls right off the get-go, your game's over.
Yeah.
I mean, you can grab new characters, and some people will do that where they're like, oh, well, this one's gone. I'll just make another one real quick and we'll keep going. But on the other hand, you're going to have some people that are like, yeah, I know it didn't take too long, but I just died in ring 2. I don't really feel like going on. But you're
not dead. You're just enthralled.
Well, you're not playable anymore. How's that?
Actually, are you?
Yeah, I think the ruling specifically is once you hit corruption 6, you hand the character over.
You're right. Hand them to GM.
You could also
no, it's the game is it's fiascos and it's terrible, depressing endings. So you do have players who are going in knowing that. I'm just throwing that out there as if you want to weigh pros and cons and just to be aware of other people too.
I think kind of what we discussed last time about having more open reduction rolls, so they don't have to be secret, I think it plays nicely into that because it makes it that pendulum swing back and forth between 4 and 5 more frequently if you're not having to hide everything.
Yeah, I think that's also true because there's definitely and I think the narration between GM and players is good enough that if you need that way to get hidden, you can make it happen. But I think it takes some of that pressure off if it's not as big a deal if it's in the open or nearby another player or something. So you're less likely to be like, well, I know I'm at 5 and I need to get rid of it, but I'm in the middle of a council with elders with my buddies and I can't get rid of it this way. So or something like that. I'm just pulling things out of my ass, whatever.
Oh yeah, but speaking of which, because Selah has hit 5, would you like to reduce the corruption before we go into the next ring?
I'm gonna try to reduce it and hopefully not roll a 5. Or wait, do I have to get over or under?
Under.
Under when I went out. Okay.
Mhm.
And try not to roll a 5 or 6. By kind of leaning into the creation of this legend into goopy flesh, that like she pushes a little too much even as she realizes what it's becoming and gives more that skews the fae.
Ooh, I like that. That's such a good idea. That's such a good way to go about
Yes, lean into the evil I have done.
Yeah, but it also makes sense, right? Like, I like it. I'll give you a 1. Okay, so a 1 die. Okay, so but you can take any die, right? As I'm not a dice pusher, as I said. So, ooh,
4's okay.
yeah, you drop. Yes, it's good.
I'll take that. All right.
Very cool. So like as you push into it, you feel the thing, like it sort of like pushes its shoulders back. It stands more confidently. There's some real swagger to it. It even goes ahead as if it's going to protect you. And you can see it like blaze the way forward. But you can, even though you can't see your brother right now, you keep feeling like they're there at the corner of your eye. You keep sensing their presence as we push on forward. And
Man, I know you lost your partner, but seriously, you just made yourself another one? There are dating apps to help with this.
But yeah,
coming from the golem, like, come on.
What?
Constructed creatures.
I didn't ask to be created.
Neither did the legend.
I'm just bitter.
Because you don't have as good of a relationship with your creator.
Yeah. No, my creator wasn't a pretty young woman who smiled brightly at me when I was created. It was like probably this like bent over old man who's just like, "You're not what I was trying to get."
Right, daddy issues.
Yeah, daddy. Yeah, you said you wanted daddy issues. I'll give him daddy issues.
The golem has daddy issues.
And here they are. Okay, so as we press on forward, so as you step through, you can see that creature in front of you is walking quite confidently because it is not connected to the heart trees like you three are. It can't sense what's happening. So you can feel that the heart trees are starting to grow desperate. There's something about the beating of the heart that echoes and pushes forward, pushes towards you through the forest that's increasing in intensity. The sound of the beating hearts has become a cacophony. You can feel them pleading and begging. And you can feel in yourself like your own rising panic and despair answering their own as things start to get truly dire. In this part of the forest, everything is twisted by ice and snow. There are large icicles that cut through this part of the forest, and there's some towers here, and the snow has just like split one of these towers in two. You can see that the ice has cruelly pierced through several fallen dryads. And so the dryads are unmoving. They're twisted in strange positions, hanging off of the ice in some places. So I will say, especially our duelist, who was searching for the fire dances, you recognize that all of these dryads here are part of those fire dancers. So their autumn colors sort of burst out, but it's covered in a layer of sharp snow. But as you move closer to where the dryads are, the snow is not cold at all. Even though you were surrounded by the snow and you can see the ice everywhere, the heat is still thick and oppressive where you are. and you see the fire dances begin to shift and move as if like puppets on a string. They breathe in deep, and then they let out a breath, and the same sulfuric fumes from ring one coming out. And you know that soon they're going to strike. So my question for you is, what poisonous corruption do the fire dancers wield?
Wait, repeat the first part of that. The blank corruption. Do they wield?
What poisonous corruption?
Poisonous. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, like there's a sense that the corruption they have can spread.
I mean, I like the idea of sort of taking the good fire that these fire dancers presumably wielded through their art, and sort of, you know, inverting that so it's more of like a cold or dark flame that by nature is just ravenous and hungry and wants to spread.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh, that same hunger that our golem is going through also.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's perfect.
But yeah, so you see them, they're all twitching, starting to come to life, and you can see some of them, like one of them has started eating the other. Like you can see like one of them like grabs parts and then starts consuming it. That hunger is moving through them.
Gross.
And they're starting to free themselves from the ice. You notice in particular that one of them is carrying, because Shade saw that memory, is carrying that crown, that flower crown that was lovingly made for Vashka, and this particular fire dancer dryad is wearing it, and this one is coming closer to you. What do you do?
So I think here's where I'm at. This is probably not a great moment for Brador, given his drive of, you know, seeking out the fire dancers. Well, they're here and it's bad. So I'm thinking either he wants to try and use his own fire to either like melt that ice around them that's part of them and perhaps cleanse them. But if that feels or seems beyond this situation, then just, you know, put them out of their misery, so to speak. But what's everybody else feeling?
Yeah, I do like that idea, but how about our other characters?
You know, before I light stuff on fire.
I mean, that's kind of what, like, as soon as we walked into something where they were captured in ice and there was snow, like, that was sort of what I was thinking. It's also, not to metagame it, it is Riot. Riot kind of enjoys lighting things on fire.
Yeah, all the rituals I create are based on the mask abilities. So yeah, for sure.
It's fun.
So let's wait till we get to terror. Like what rituals are those?
Oh, that'll be fun.
Full horror game.
And that's why I've saved terror for later. Like I think that's full on horror. But yeah,
I'm waiting for Torment. Torment's going to be like a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it will be.
I know. I feel like I have to build myself up to that one. So
that's fair.
For sure. But yeah, I do like it. I definitely want to see Shade also get to do something after. So we'll see like how this goes.
Yeah, I think at this point, given the urgency and the heartbeats, Shade is not actually terribly interested in stopping to deal with things. His main priority is getting to the heart trees because that's his goal. I don't think he's certainly not so. He's not so obsessed that he will like ditch you. He's not gonna like if it's clear that you guys are going to deal with this, he's going to stay. But from a character perspective, his goal right now is to get to the heart trees.
Right, because he can feel that panic.
Yeah, he can feel that they're panicking. That's what he was created to protect.
Yeah, absolutely. And the horrible dead. But yeah. Okay, so I feel like this is definitely a good opportunity to go all out with our fire. We'll see. We'll see how well it goes. Like depending on how well the roll goes, you could cleanse them. So that's 1 dark die for the ritual.
Yep.
Do you have a skill that you feel?
I'm looking at my skills. That doesn't feel inspiration per se. Had an idea of possibly with swords in the sense that he's physically channeling it and using his sword, like so it's less of like standing there calling out fire, but it's much more
dynamic
personal.
and
and dynamic.
The only other suggestion that I might make to you instead of doing swords would be charm, because you're trying to appeal and remind them of the purity of the fire and not the darkness and corruption of it.
That's really good. That's really good. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. That's a good idea.
awesome.
I mean, mechanically it doesn't matter, but you know.
Yeah, no, thematically I like it.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so that's 2 dice so far. Let's have our bargains. My bargain for you, very quick. I will say that your rival will have to help you.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to bring in the vampire lady?
Yeah, no, that's actually what I was gonna offer.
No, the vampire that loves you has to help you.
Not actually what I was gonna go with, but
I'll just roll a 4 or 5. You know, we can have both.
he's just gonna end in some very strange relationship there.
Wow, that could be really great. What do we call them? Is it a throuple, right? If it's like, anyway,
I love it. I was gonna go a completely different angle with that.
You do it.
I'll say that you are able to like clear this ice and snow that's capturing them, but your sword ends up more, instead of just all the fire and the fire agate, it now has like streaks and veins of a darker stone through it.
Ooh.
Like it's got a little ice thing going on.
Yeah, that's also cool.
Yeah, I like that. Like your weapon's going to show the corruption in a way. That's very cool.
Yeah, that is neat.
My bargain actually did lean on back to the vampire as well. My bargain was that during all this time, the vampire figured out that they were going totally not the wrong direction, and you're way more interesting than what they were doing. So they've come back and get here in time for this ritual, and they get wrapped up in the flames that flick out, but because there's the corruption, it fuses in such a way that now this vampire will be forever permanently immune to your fire.
Ooh.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that's also cool.
Oh no, I like all 3. So
Yeah, I know.
whatever we decide. Rest in peace.
Yeah, I think I gotta go with that third one. That's just so tempting.
Yeah,
That's
we are
so
smelling out
awesome.
your food. Absolutely delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, but you know our complications. We'll see. Like,
You may get one or both of the other
4 or
ones.
5. Here's hoping. Oh, it's a 3.
Oh, okay, but you can re-roll.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
If the dark die is not the highest. Well, I mean, you know, it's up to you. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
not
gonna do that. So, it's re-roll all of them, or just the dark die? Okay.
No, reroll all of them.
it's so tempting because you get to do all, right? Like,
And yeah. That 6 is on the dark die.
Whoa!
whoa! That's a critical
I'm
success.
at 5 corruption.
So it's a critical success on both dark die.
It's critically corrupted.
Ooh,
Wow.
that's fun.
Okay, so tell me how it goes absolutely well, and then I will talk about the corruption after.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so on a 6, it's good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think because his initial intent was to free the fire dancer as opposed to destroy them. You know, that was like a moment of, it's kind of last resort nuclear option. So I definitely think that happens. You know, they're freed from the ice, the corruption, and just the intensity of like I think when we first walk in and started this and saw all of this, that was a huge moment of despair. Seeing kind of these fire dancers and their own fire corrupted and twisted and trapped. So I think that despair ends up fueling a lot of Brador's fire in that. So I don't know if it's necessarily like great, like emotionally for everybody involved. But the fire dancers are definitely freed.
Yeah, and I'd say
it's just, especially because it ended up going with charm versus swords, very much just like gouts of fire just blasting out. It's very, very big and kind of letting it all go. Not nearly as controlled as when he was doing things with his sword earlier.
I have a suggestion, and I don't know if it's something that would be interesting, but I think it could be kind of fun, given that it was effectively a crit on the dark die. Maybe when the vampire gets wrapped up in the fire and becomes immune to it, they inherit a part of your power, but they get the corrupted side of your power.
Ooh.
So now you have a vampire who's connected to you by magically, and also has your abilities and is immune to your power.
Oh, of course. That's cool. Like maybe like a moment almost in this inferno that's created, kind of like Eye of the Storm. There's Brador, and then walking out from like this big wall of fire, or whatever, is then the vampire.
Ooh, I like it. Like, yeah, and I'll say like to really like give the crit justice, I'll say that you're able to completely cleanse the dryads of this. I mean, that they're like you, they're also wounded, they're also traumatized from the ordeal, but at least they won't be thralls to the vampire lords. And yeah, so I'm seeing the inferno, and I'm seeing like she shows up. Wow, it's so amazing because we said she was wearing like a fiery dress earlier. Good job. Like, good job, Dice. So I'll say that let's go for it for the corruption. You feel the strength of the ritual, and you realize she is supporting the ritual. She is helping you through it. And I will say that the corruption deepens by you knowing that she loves you, and that she has loved you for a long time. This is not the first time she's seen you.
Yeah, I feel like that's when that sort of spark, or the kindling that he had felt way earlier about this mysterious vampire lord finally starts to burn, so to speak.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so delightful.
Yeah.
So like
I feel like because you're saying that she's helping support the ritual, so I think maybe part of that hitting 5 is like, is she an ally in this? Like, why is she aiding? Besides true love or whatever.
Yeah, and I'll say like I'm also imagining that goopy thing looks at Sayla and says, "Should we be doing that?" Like, like they don't say it out loud, but they go like, and then,
No.
How do I map just friends to the goopy thing?
Boundaries.
It's complicated.
Hang on, I need to friend zone my complication.
I'm gonna write this down. Friend zone.
Friend zone. Aw.
Just so I can remember. Okay, so yeah, actually, I do have a suggestion because you are at 5. If you want to reduce your corruption.
Yeah. What might that look like here?
Well, Jamie would suggest a kiss, but it could be anything.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I can't say no to that. like we're standing there, eyes locked in the middle of a fiery inferno.
They're having a moment.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
How could I not?
But
I feel like I've
taste.
hit a new milestone. A reduction roll is a kiss with a vampire. I'm very proud of myself. I should not be, but I am. So roll any dark die, and you just
Yep.
want to get lower than 5.
That is a 2.
Oh, nice. It goes down.
Okay. It didn't update
Yeah.
for a second, and it showed 6 still, and I was like, oh.
Well, guess I just got a kiss out of that.
Yeah.
Back down to
Yeah. So, I'll say like what happens is when you kiss her, she pulls back not because she doesn't want the kiss, but you can see that there's guilt in her eyes.
oh,
Uh-oh.
intriguing.
Yeah, and and she turns to you, and she says, "I shouldn't be telling you this, but what comes ahead is going to be dangerous. Lord Malachi has already attacked the ceremony. There isn't much time left. The feudal lord will fail, and he will fall to our corruption no matter what." And her voice kind of breaks a little bit when she says this, and you realize, looking at her now, that she is the daughter of the feudal lord.
Oh.
I love Sarah's face.
Don't get too into the Duke's daughters later. It's all coming together.
Yeah.
But yeah, so on that note, shall we move on to the next ring 4?
I think
Anybody need to do
Yeah.
anyone else need to try and
so.
get
But I'm below 5 now, so.
And I think I'm at 4 too, so I'm good.
Yeah, but you can keep doing it if you want, right? So if you want to do another reduction roll, feel free. Yeah.
Oh, can you? I thought you had to be at 5 to reduce.
Ooh, okay. So yeah, that's a good point to go over the rules. Did I write it here? Yeah, you may continue. So once you hit 5, then you can keep reducing it all throughout.
Okay. So you just have to have hit 5 once, and then you can
Yeah.
reduce as often as you want.
Okay.
Okay.
In case you want to. That's totally legit before we move forward, because you do have your corruption goo buddy over there.
I mean, he seemed to take like, "Hey man, we're just friends." Okay, so.
Oh, you know what? I will say that
I
he's
like
very
the relationship as it is right now.
If you want to allow him to share a part of himself with the dryads, it could be a reduction roll. Just gonna put that out there.
Yeah, that seems like a terrible idea.
Okay. So, but let me know anytime you want to do a reduction roll.
Cool.
But yeah, so we are moving into the next ring 4. And so at this point, after what she says, let me give our vampire lady a name. Yeah, let's call her Luna. Okay, just typing it here. So Luna, after hearing that from Luna and realizing how dire things are, I'm sure the 3 of you can't help but rush forward, especially Jade, who's intent on the heart trees. But all of you know that the ceremony is under attack.
Yeah.
And by the time you rush through the trees, the heart trees are screaming now. You can hear them begging for release and mercy. They're going through a lot of pain, and all 3 of you can feel the pain cutting through all of you. Your own hearts are breaking in unison with the heart trees. And you come across what remains of the interrupted hand fasting ceremony. You can see ahead of you that what was once beautiful, all these, this part of the forest, all the trees come together to sort of bow over the guests and everything. All of it is in flames. All of it is twisting and on fire. You can see a lot of it has turned into skeletal ash. And you notice that the guests have turned on one another. Their eyes are full of fire, and there's soot and ash on their faces. Around them, everything is burning. What was meant to celebrate love and community is now in flames. And the same sulfuric fumes burst forth, and it's coating everything and everyone in its corruption. And in the middle, you can see that the feudal lord is there, the human. He's vainly trying to calm down the guests. He's really out of his element. He is helpless, and you can see that he cannot raise his weapon because everyone who is here is someone he loves. So he cannot attack anyone who is here. And you can hear him screaming for Vashka.
Oh no.
He's searching for her.
So Vashka is not present as far as we can see.
Mhm.
What do you do?
Don't leave this question up to Shade. Shade
Yeah,
wants to get to the heart trees. That's his
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah. Actually, the question I also have is, as the fire is consuming everything and the sulfur in the air, what kind of monstrosities are the guests becoming? How are they changing and twisting?
I would suggest that they are actually becoming they're becoming salamanders. Like they're becoming
Ooh.
bipedal, made of fire lizard looking
Yeah.
monsters.
Yeah, you can see their skin glistening under the fire and everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that. Very cool. I like it a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, let's definitely go with that. So our poor feudal lord, like his friends are becoming salamanders. Anyway, it's okay. Our Fey Guardians are here. What do we do?
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, Shade, we haven't seen you go at it for a while. So if you want to just come in and do your
You can
thing,
hear the trees screaming.
yeah. So it would make sense if you want to do something about this horrible situation. Because the heart trees are still ahead, right? I will say that. They're not here.
I assume that they're ring 5 effectively.
If you don't have anything, I do have an idea.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah, we also haven't seen something from Sella in a while, so that's and you have your friend to help you. So,
Yeah, you got
Your friend.
Goop friend.
the great legend of
You're
Goop.
just
You're ever gonna give Goopy a name?
Oh, what's a good really just smarmy hero name?
Swarmy hero name. That's it has to be a male name. Those are
Yeah.
smarmy more than women's names. Desmond, Blake, Diego, Remus, Virgil, Zachariah. I'm looking at random Armand.
Anyway, he wasn't what I was going to do. I will have to think about a name. So my thought was, do you have something, or did you just realize something?
No, I just had a somewhat of an idea, but it depends on how much Jamie wants to let me bend the rules.
Ooh, what are the rules?
Glamour says take on a pleasing form. Does it necessarily have to be pleasing? Does it necessarily have to be humanoid?
Doesn't have to be humanoid at all. And I guess it's up to you. What do you want to change into?
So my thought was to use glamour to appear as a gigantic dragon and basically roar angrily at these salamanders in the this is my territory, get out kind of thing.
Ooh. Well, dragons can be gorgeous, so that's fine.
Yeah.
I think they get pleasing, not to the salamanders, but but how do we feel about that, Veronica? Though, because I know you had an idea also. So
no, that's similar because apparently we're all pretending to be other people. Except I was gonna go because I don't have glamour, I have facade. So I was gonna go Vachka, but that also has the very real possibility of the feudal lord thinking I'm his wife. So I'm all for the dragon. Wait, where are you?
the facade is
Yeah.
a backup plan for sure.
Yeah. I do like the twist that it is pleasing to the salamanders.
Yeah. Right. So we have one dark die. Let me get you a higher one. Wow, they're all so low. We don't have like all these dice look low. Anyway, and do we have a skill that we feel applies in the situation?
Yeah, I'm gonna. As much as I've already like leaned on it, I think I'm gonna have to lean on protection. I don't think any of his other
Yeah, the
skills
stealthy stealth
apply.
one.
Yeah, he's not being very stealthy, and in fact, is doing the opposite of being stealthy. But he is trying to protect the forest.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, though I would say observation could fall into it because like you've seen a dragon before, like it's very rare, and that's what you're copying. So, but anyway, it's so one white die. Let us offer our bargains. Let's bring in your creator in again. I'll say that he's one of the guests. And you can see him like he is not resisting the corruption. That's why I bargained for you. I mean,
That's very fun.
I didn't like him anyway.
Yeah, for sure. So you had every right to have daddy issues. So any other bargains?
Oh, I mean, kind of toying with your bargain a little bit. So how would Shade feel if, because we know you don't like your creator, but how would Shade feel if like your creator was like reaching out towards them, like asking for help or begging for help?
Oh, I like that better. That's so awful. So good.
See, now I feel like the nice one. So I was going to give you that taking on the form of this dragon, you never quite shake that form again. And so you always have like, it's subtle, but like caught in the right light. It looks like, even though, because you're like clay, sort of golem looking.
Well,
usually.
He looks kind of like an animate, like a humanoid animate tree, not quite, like more humanoid than, for example, Groot. But what he's made of can still very much be made of clay or something similar.
Bark appearance works even better. Like sometimes when the light catches him right, it doesn't look like bark; it looks like scales.
Yeah, that's also cool.
Oh, okay. I really like that.
Told you it was the nicer of like they're messing with your daddy issues.
Yeah, I mean, I like the daddy issues, and that's hilarious. But I actually do really like the visual of him looking reminiscent to a dragon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can take daddy issues with it.
Yeah, depends on what I roll. I might get consequences, so you know.
There you go. Oh yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry. Well, like that, for instance.
Oh,
so back up to 5 corruption.
That's right. We go back up to 5.
Yep.
Oh.
But I'm going to stick with a 5 because it's a 5.
Yeah. For sure.
Well, I don't actually have a choice anyway. It's the highest roll.
It's also the highest one. I will say, so tell me what it looks like when you do the ritual. How do they respond? And I will tell you the complication.
So I think he sees the salamanders like as we're getting to the edge of the clearing, but before we make it out and they see us. And the rune on his forehead blazes this green color, and it seems like his whole body shifts and he like falls onto all fours, so that there's this ginormous dragon that is bursting out of the trees and wings spread wide, claws in the ground, and just roars at the top of his lungs at them. And basically all the salamanders kind of simultaneously do the like look up, eep, and just scatter.
Good. I like it. So I'll say that the complication is that as this happens, you can feel the sulfur, because like this is also going to reflect the corruption situation. You can breathe it. You start breathing it in without meaning to, and you will want to eat at least one of these fleeing salamanders. You don't actually have to do it. I'm just saying that's what's happening to the condition.
Can I
like-
eat one and use that as a reduction roll?
I will allow it. Yes.
Ooh.
So we're going to. That's your condition for now. But go ahead and roll reduction.
Eat a lizard.
Eat a
Eat
lizard.
a lizard. Eat
Yeah.
a lizard.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
either
So-
way. Whoa, yeah. No, I'm going back down too. Sweet.
Oh, nice. Okay, so it's worth it. You ate that.
Oh yeah, it was worth it.
It was a good
Yeah,
lizard.
yeah,
Also, I was hungry, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Tasty snack.
And as you eat it, you taste fey flesh for the first time, as twisted as it is now as a monstrosity.
oh god, I didn't think about that part.
Yeah, and it tastes absolutely delightful.
Oh,
Oh, you
me,
liked it.
I forgot that they were fey. I totally just forgot they were fey. I totally forgot they were fey. Oh my god, that was horrific.
Is that okay? Do you want a red card?
No. Keep it.
I feel like it's true to the character. You just like is so hungry, gets into a bite, and it was like, I forgot they were fey.
Yeah,
Just, like,
no, I think that is
horrified.
effectively what happens. Like he's so obsessed with getting to the hearts, and he's really frustrated. And he gets the draconic form, and he has that draconic like mentality of like this is a smaller creature that is threatening my territory, and he just almost on instinct just goes and eats it, and then realizes, what have I done?
Yeah, absolutely. And thankfully, in the chaos, no one has noticed. I will say. Because there's a lot happening. Maybe your fellow guardians noticed. But,
yeah, maybe the guardians noticed, but like the rest are. If anyone else is still like sane, it's like, holy crap, it's a dragon. Let's run.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll notice that in the chaos, there's another vampire lord that steps forward. The one that Luna was talking about. So Lord Malachi,
Hi.
you all recognize him. Actually, he has been courting the feudal lord for a long time. So you see him like the feudal lord, the human lord, he's trapped, he's frozen, his eyes are wide. As Lord Malachi steps forward, you can tell that he's put the feudal lord in a trance. And he starts proclaiming his love and desire for the feudal lord. And he says, I will see this entire forest burn if it means I may possess you again, my love.
Poor
What do you
future
do?
Duke is probably like, fuck off, I'm married.
Like, I already said no. We're over.
This is great because it matches one of our last sessions where we found out that the Duke has got all sorts of shit going on to fight like the Crimson Crown because he does not trust other vampires.
Yeah, and this is where it comes from. They're all assholes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Including
Who'd
him
have
later. I don't know. But yeah, so what do we do? I mean, we could leave him to his fate and push forward to the heart trees.
Can't attack a vampire. I really want to eat the vampire. Can't attack the vampire.
Oh, but you can consume him. You can use rituals on a vampire. It's just not outright like attack. You can consume.
I could
You're gonna eat the
consume.
vampire?
Actually, as entertaining as that is, I think I have a slightly different goal.
Ooh.
And that would be
but
given-
also just as a suggestion, like say like also like facade daughter, if she wants to. But anyway, go ahead, Sarah.
Oh
What is
yeah. That's true. No, my thought was, given that Shade is absolutely now furious, and wants to get to the trees, I actually think that he's just gonna rear up, like grab the frozen count or the frozen Duke with his soon to be Duke with his claws and just take off so he can fly over to where the heart trees are.
Oh, that's true.
That'll do it.
Yeah. And then Lord Malachi could the other two could deal with Lord Malachi, or you could all go for it. Like, what are you feeling?
Well, if the feudal lord, as he still is taking out of the scenario, then I don't think going to be going after Lord Malachi.
You know,
Yeah.
you guys, in theory, you guys could hop on.
Yeah. So we're only going to do a roll to see if he can get away from Lord Malachi. That's the main thing.
Yeah, I like that. Hang on, we just want to leave this situation. We'll take the guy with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's totally valid because, like, You don't have to face him head on. Who would like to do the like carrying action, main action?
I think it only makes sense if I do it.
Yeah, I was. If you're a 4, you're fine.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, I'm also not doing at this point. I'm not doing any rituals, so if I roll well, I don't have to risk it. But
Mhm.
it also, yes, I'm at 4, so if I take a corruption, so be it.
Yeah, so that's. I assume you're going to use protection.
Yeah, I was thinking about observation from the premise of like watching, having. Because if Shade saw a dragon at one point, which we've established he did, and they're extremely rare, he probably spent a lot of time like following it around and watching how it behaved and how it hunted, how it existed and lived. So he's seen it he's seen that dragon kind of like pick stuff up and carry it off to its lair or whatnot. So he has a concept of like how to keep his balance while flying, while holding something.
Yeah. I think that totally makes sense. Yeah, so that's 1 white die for observation using this dragon body well. Let's offer a bargain. Let's see. I kind of like the idea, like more of the dragon's going to stay with you, like what Veronica started with. Like you're staying in the form for too long. You're not meant to stay in it, and because you're forcing the ritual to continue, right? Yeah. So I feel like that's my bargain. What other bargains do we have on the table?
I mean, that's the exact same thing I was thinking.
I mean, to a degree, it is the logical conclusion of where that's going.
Mm-hmm. So the Duke / feudal lord, we all know what he's going to become, is still a human currently, right?
That's correct.
He's threatened, but he's still human. I'll say that the bargain is you're not going to consume him, but having like tasted Fey flesh and interacted with vampires, you realize this hunger for humans as well, that this is something you have yet to consume.
Ooh. Very cool. Our poor golem that wants to eat things.
Yeah, he does. But I really like that. But I do. I think I'm gonna take like Jammy's bargain because I am curious to go down the rabbit hole and see what's gonna happen to this golem. The more draconic features he's adopting.
What's gonna happen is Brinkwood's gonna have
a dragon somewhere.
Golem.
Yeah, because if you survive, it'll have survived the whole time. Golems don't die very easily. Right?
He's the last dragon.
Okay, so that's 2 dice. Do you want to go ahead and roll?
Yeah, I think I'll roll and then see where that goes from here. You know what? I'm gonna take the 5. Yeah. I don't feel the need to I don't feel the need to risk it any further. I'm gonna take the 5.
Yeah. I'll say that our complication. I think that the complication is that when you take, so I see the other Fey Guardian is just jumping on, right?
That dragon's about to take off. Shit.
Yeah. Just like any of our duelists and our songbird, like looking super awesome on top of you. So, what's going to happen? The complication is that Luna will have to stay behind and fight off Lord Malachi to buy her love some time.
I don't care.
Yeah. No, but I'll say part of the complication is you do feel guilty about it. Seeing this person who's trying.
Hungry. It's okay.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? It's for greater good.
Yeah. So we see Luna staying back. She looks at Brador like eye to eye, like there's a promise that she won't say out loud. Unless Brador wants to try to stop her from doing it.
Yeah, make a vampire jump on me. That sounds like a fantastic idea. I will not kick her off if you do, but
I mean, his corruption's at 4, so he doesn't like necessarily have to reduce, but that could be something that would be a reduction roll.
Yeah, I think that's a fun way to do that.
Yeah, to ensure her survival.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think even though he's not at 5 corruption, I still think that there's something perhaps different about her. You know.
Ooh, yeah.
So,
I like it.
okay.
Yeah, so go ahead. Roll. You just want to get lower.
Where did that go?
No worries.
I think I rolled a light die, but then it turned purple. So I'm not sure what happened.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh, is that the internet fritzing out?
Unless it got moved around.
Yeah. No worries. Why don't you go ahead and roll again?
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to pull this one down. Click it. Okay, that is a 4.
Ooh, which is
Equal.
Ooh, okay, so it stays. But you rescued the vampire lady.
Kind of an interesting way to effectively auto succeed.
Yeah. And that's the interesting thing about reduction rolls. Sometimes people do it because they know to mean you succeed at it, but you kind of have to do something not so great for the long run.
That's an interesting way to think of the reduction rolls, actually.
Yeah, it's a interesting sort of, not like meta gaming, but like meta story gaming.
Yeah. How important is this to your character? Is it important enough that you would corrupt other people to make sure it happens?
Yeah. Ooh, that's true.
Yeah,
so like,
that's a good way to phrase it.
yeah. So do you have an idea for what it looks like? I kind of have it in my mind, but if you have an idea.
No, let's see what you got.
Yeah, I feel like so she has this look, and so you're on this dragon golem thing, and you just hold out your hand, like you don't even say, like you just hold out your hand and lock eyes with her, and Lord Malachi says, "Daughter, don't dare. You do not dare to choose one of these lesser beings." And she does. She just, I see her like tearing her dress and jumping on the dragon.
It must be love.
Must be love. Oh, what tragedy awaits. Okay, so on that note, we are headed to the final ring, right? Is that right? I'm going to say Goopy is still around.
Adonis.
I like it.
Right.
I see it.
I used the spelling out of the poem, but I'm pretty sure it's still pronounced the same.
Yeah, I like it.
I think so.
Yeah, I think he's super like
right.
In fact, you notice he's starting to look more solid, more. He's starting to look more and more like a real Fae.
God,
that's an interesting thing. Can you make a fake Fae doing this? Like, if you indoctrinate him enough, will he become stopping a vampire thing and become a Fae? Maybe.
I don't know. Does a golem that turns into a dragon ever become a Fae?
I don't know. It seems like I'm busy on the path to becoming a dragon, though. So there's
that. Sure. But yeah. Oh wait. Whoops. Sorry. I was touching the wrong thing. So we are going to enter our last ring.
We're blowing through this much faster than we have the last two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because actually you guys have been rolling pretty well. So there's also that. I will say that as you get closer to the heart trees, or where the heart trees are supposed to be.
I don't like that.
Yeah, so here the heart trees are absolutely silent. You can no longer hear the heartbeats coming through. You hear absolutely nothing and feel nothing. And in the screeching silence, the dread sets in and claws at your heart. I'm going to have to say everyone needs to make a corruption roll to see how they handle this, knowing that the heart trees could possibly be lost. So everybody just rolls a dark die and just try not to roll equal to or above, basically. So just roll.
Yeah.
Oh, yay! Woohoo! Wait, no, bad. I wanted to be corrupted.
You can't help it, right? Like you're like, I'm ready.
There is a part of me now that's just like, I really want to see what this thing becomes.
Yeah. Okay, how did our duelist do?
Roll a 1.
Oh, nice. Okay,
how about
2? So I'm good.
And I rolled a 3, so we got the whole gamut there.
Yeah, everybody's good. Everybody's able to like steal themselves. So when you reach the center of this forest, of the choir forest, you find that the hundreds of heart trees, the reason why they're silent is because all of them have been turned into firestone.
Ooh.
They are splintered, cracked, and bleeding this lava like substance that's slowly pushing out of them. You can see that the dryads that are connected to these trees that have been trying to protect the heart trees, most of them lay broken physically or emotionally. Some of them are not moving next to the heart trees. Others are holding on to the trees, trying to give what they can of their essence to the heart trees, but nothing is working.
I'm so not happy.
I think we lost Jamie again.
Oh, we did.
Looking very concerned in this frozen position.
Frozen mid-sentence.
Hey, they made it like an hour and a half without this happening again.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of glad that we're going to be done before 1:30 our time this time, though. I am fading quick. But I'm going to make it through this, man.
Final stretch.
You got this. I believe in you.
Maybe it depends on how long it takes Jamie to get back.
Yeah.
This is right. You had to say something.
Yeah, I didn't. Jamie was gone before I said anything.
Why are you not in my calendar?
I don't know.
You don't go in my calendar. I do things like schedule meetings over you. Luckily, this is a meeting with my employees because this is the second time I've missed this.
I have to decide whether or not I'm going to try and make game sessions while I'm out visiting Nicole or not.
What do you mean?
Well,
for Brinkwood.
yeah. I mean, it's only a 3-hour difference, and I'm taking my laptop with me, so it's not like it would be unbelievable that I could.
Well, and it's not like there aren't players that have that same time difference.
Yeah. But on the other hand, if I don't volunteer, it does give a slot up for other people who don't get to play as often as I do. So, I shouldn't be a glutton.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, Eric tries to balance it pretty well.
Yeah,
so.
I know. And I know because he's got a spreadsheet where he keeps track of who's played when. And it also bases on player availability, too.
Mm-hmm.
You know the worst thing, Veronica?
I
already have a vague idea of if I get stuck with the mask, how I'm going to take it.
Because you know these things happen. Hi, welcome back.
Hiya!
Hello.
Uh-oh.
Wait, yeah,
Oh, no.
But less concerned this time.
Oh, no. Not good. Think of all this precious recording time that they're losing.
They just watch us talk and me try to finish up work.
Small talk.
I assume that if they're going to post this, they're going to snip these scenes out.
Got to keep them in for the authentic experience.
Well, I guess. We better be damn entertaining, though.
Really are yeah. Oh.
What's the matter?
Oh, scheduling stuff.
Oh, work scheduling stuff?
Uh-huh. It was a crappy week to forget that. Well, not forget. It wasn't even me that forgot it. Because the thing didn't send. Oh, that's with Ashley. I shouldn't with that. It was a crappy week to have a 2-hour training in an afternoon that I thought I had time to work on a different training that I need to do. I have a private appointment that doesn't. Why can I not see my own private appointment? Thank you, Outlook. I have a private appointment at 9:15 on I think it's we do biometric screenings there's like the incentive they give you points towards company swag for checking and make sure your cholesterol's not too high, because then they get to tell their, the companies they have deals for insurance with that their
employees are good and healthy and
yeah.
Oh.
5-minute break while routers are threatened.
So, Francisco, since you won't leave my lap alone, does this mean I get to use you as a pillow?
I think that's how that trade works.
Yeah. His ears flicked back. That's the only response I got. He didn't even look up at me.
Aww.
He was sitting. I have a bag with some clothes in it that's on the floor next to my bed. I sent this message. I sent it to in our Discord, personal Discord chat, but he decided to climb into the bag and lay down in it. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Weird cat.
I know, he's so bizarre. And he's so nice and cute right now, and then he's going to be a pain in the butt in the future. All right, so how's everybody doing on corruption? Is everybody at 4?
Yes.
We
I just
are.
tabbed on the wrong computer to tell you that.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I
like, wait, what?
the next part is the character keeper. I can go look at your character.
Yeah. Yes, I am at 4.
Heck yeah. We might actually have a game where none of us get corrupted.
Yeah. Ooh, be interesting.
I'm
I'm very intrigued to see where all this goes.
Yeah, I am too, actually. Oh, this has just been like a delightful series of one disaster after another. It's been fantastic.
Very good. Very, very good.
What time is the party on Sunday, V? I'm a goldfish.
The reservation's for 11, and I asked them, like, okay, so what's like a reservation for 11 really mean to that? And they're like, be considerate of the fact like other people want to, like, I think they say like an hour and a half.
Okay.
But
if they don't have business, they probably don't care.
Right. It's Super Bowl Sunday. They're thinking they're not going to have a huge crowd anyway.
Yeah.
Which, works for those of us that are nerds that don't care about football.
Yeah.
That we get to go take over the board game cafe all to ourselves.
Seems reasonable to me.
Yeah. Oh, I got that. Oh my god. Let me unpack myself from here. Stay. Okay.
Oh, that's the cookbook you were talking about.
Yeah. I think I like it. There's a lot of krauts in it.
I think he likes krauts.
Well, he likes pickled
vinegar and bitter, somewhat bitter things though too. So
I'm pretty sure he's not going to make things that you will like out of those.
Nah, probably not. But that's okay.
Although pickled onions, how do you feel about pickled onions? Because you like onions.
I don't think I've had pickled onions, but he has done something similar to pickling onions, and I forgot what it was, but I really like those. I mean, not straight. They have to be on a sandwich or something, but...
Ben would eat them straight.
Yes, he would. But Ben is a monster. I love him to pieces, but he's a monster.
That's true. Also, I framed the little dude.
Aww.
Right? It was sitting on top of the... Hi!
Your theory back.
Did you beat your router?
Yeah, I started it. Plus, Matthew came home with milk tea. I'm no longer I'm no longer screaming at the router. I tried to be nice. Okay, so we were. Are we cool with moving on to the last ring?
Yes.
Okay. Awesome. What is the last thing you guys were able to hear from me before my router did that? I can repeat it again from the top. So
the top was totally fine with me.
I don't think it was much.
I'm Matthew.
Yeah, I don't think we got very far either. So
yeah. Hey. Focusing. Running again. Okay. So here we go. The heart trees are silent. You can hear nothing, feel nothing. In the screeching silence, dread sets in and claws at the heart. When you reach the center of the forest, you find that, oh yeah, we did talk about it, right? That hundreds of the heart trees have been turned into firestone. They're splintered, cracked, bleeding, a lava-like substance. Several of the dryads lay broken physically or emotionally. So you can see some of the dryads are unable to move. You can tell that there was a fight, that it didn't go well. Some of them are trying to give what they can of their essence to the heart trees, but it's not working. And however, in the distance, you can hear the softest of heartbeats, just a few. Compared to the hundreds you were hearing earlier, you can hear at least a dozen in the distance. Knowing that that's all that's left is heartbreaking, but it's better than the alternative. As you get closer, very quickly, because you're on top of a golden dragon, as you fly through with a vampire lord. Wow, this is complicated. This is super complicated. And a goop. Anyway.
Who thinks he's a god?
Yeah, who doesn't look? He looks less like a goop now.
Yeah, true. He looks like a goopy, a very handsome goop. And so you can see in the distance, Vashka is standing in the clearing. She is in front of the last of the heart trees. Her dress has burned away. You can see that there's fire raging all around. The fire is like leaping from the lava, right? That's trying to get to the rest of the heart trees. And ice and frost covers most of her body. Her eyes are full of winter stars, and she screams for justice. You can see them, the multitude, the vampire army are here. They are innumerable. It's impossible to count their number. And in front of them, standing at the head of the army, is another vampire lord. And this one wears the same face as our feudal lord that you have with you, that you have rescued. As you get closer, you can hear this vampire lord. She tells Vashka that she has married the wrong twin, and she will regret it for all of eternity. She, Lady Astra, will have her vengeance.
Wait, so clarification question. Who's married who incorrectly? I get confused there.
No worries. So Vashka and our feudal lord have married, but they both have vampire lords that would rather have them. So Lord Malachi wants the feudal lord, and Lady Astra, who is also the feudal lord's twin, wants Vashka for herself.
Okay, got it.
So they have more than a love triangle. They've got some weird love parallel.
And there are twins involved, and that makes things all sorts of complicated.
Love quadrangle.
Yeah. And so you can see that the two of them are facing each other. Vashka is trying to do her best. She's likely not to survive this encounter, however. Not against the entire army, not against the vampire lords, but she is not willing to let go of the heart trees either. So, what do we do?
God. Dragon forming, that's annoying. You have a
go for it.
So I think this might be the time to pretend to be Vashka. So I think she could use facade to come in and convince Lady Astra. Is that the name?
Exactly.
That she does not have the real Vashka.
That is so good. I love that idea so much. Okay, let's go do it. So that's such a good idea.
It is a ritual.
Oops. Oh, I realized I lost my share screen because I had to go back. Let me just add it now. There we go. Yeah, it's coming up. So we have one dark die for our facade ritual. Do you have a skill? Well, you do have mimicry because you are a surviving twin. Is that right?
I have mimicry, but I also have beauty.
Ooh,
Beauty on this one.
sure. Totally legit. So that's one white die. Let us offer our bargains. My bargain for you is that Goopy will have to help you to really distract. Okay, I have a gross suggestion and a not gross suggestion. So the not gross one is that Goofy has to distract, like at the right moment, try to attack the vampire lord so that you can come in and take on the facade without Lady Astra realizing what you're doing. The other one I have, which is by far more gross, is that Goopy Boy will have to like cover you to help you be able to take on the form better. So there. I offer two options.
I like likable, but so gross.
I know. Right?
Do you have any other bargains on the table?
Yeah, like toying with just the barest bit of an idea, because you're trying to attract, this vampire lord, Lady Astra, or cool. I don't know, something along the lines of it works too well. I don't know necessarily with her or with like the entourage, or some other kind of attention. But
I was kind of thinking something similar to that, where I think succeed or fail, what's going to end up happening is that this vampire is going to kind of get a measure of what kind of person you are, like the fact that you're mischievous and you can mimicry, and she's going to decide that you're much more her type than Vashka is.
I was like,
like, who can we make fall in love with each other?
I was
the whole session has been like about making romantic relationships. I'm just going for it.
It was marriage. They drew the marriage card. So. Yeah. I think I have to go with the, like, even if she believes, I'm assuming she on Lady Astra, that I am Vashka and that there's a question there that she'll see that bit that is me and desire that more than.
Ooh, I like that. That is so good. Okay, so we have 3 dice on the table. So go ahead and roll, and then we'll see if we need to add another dark die.
Oh no, we need to add a corruption though.
Oh, like we're all like, oh, okay. Yeah. So our corruption is at what?
5 now. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We're getting kind of. Well, we can still have a reduction roll before another corruption roll. So we'll see. So tell me what happens, because it's a 6, right?
Yeah.
So it goes off perfectly. Tell me what happens.
So as we fly in on the back of a dragon, this is dramatic. We're not making a quiet entrance here.
No.
Ciela from just behind the head of the dragon stands, you better balance well, and yells down to the Lady Astra's a vampire? Yeah. To the vampire and the fae that this is merely an attempt to mimic is not the word that I want, but something like that. My true beauty, and that you cannot see through this obvious double, then maybe I did make the right decision to not be with her.
Oh,
You can't even tell who your love is.
oh wow.
I like it. We did take the bargain saying that Lady Astra is able to see through it, and I think what's worse is she plays along.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
Poor
she
Voshka. You guys are the reason. This is the reason why Voshka has so many problems in our time.
Yeah, we no longer need to know why.
Poor Voshka has so many self-confidence issues because of this.
Yeah.
It's true. And then so so Lady Astra spreads her hands and she puts away the sword that she had drawn out. And she says, "You are right, my love. I am foolish for not being able to see through this obvious sham," she says, gesturing towards Vashka. I will say that Vashka is not going to take this lying down. Someone's going to have to go in and pull her away or do something. But, for all intents and purposes, the ritual goes off perfectly. The army is enthralled and cannot tell. So the army stops, right? Because they know that they're here to get Vashka. And also destroy the heart tree. So they're kind of frozen. They're not sure what to do. It has bought you time. It has bought you a moment.
Which Vashka are we supposed to get?
Yeah, exactly. They're oh no, they really believe you. They believe that you're the real one.
Oh, okay.
Right? Because
I'm gonna stay on top of the dragon for a second.
And for the corruption. Ooh. I'm looking, is it Goopy? Is it twin brother? Is it Goopy? Is it twin brother?
Or is it an entirely new one?
Yeah, that's also possible.
No. I'm going to end up with it is Riot. It is multitudes.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. Let's see. What did I write here for conditions? Oh, okay. So this dark song starts to fill your heart. The absence of the heart trees and their cacophony and their choir, this new song starts to settle in your heart instead. And the song tells you, looking into the eyes of Lady Vastra, that you are meant for greatness. You are meant to be worshipped and adored by the multitudes. Why not take advantage of this? As you look upon your fellow Fae Guardians and you realize they are not on the same level as you.
It's going to our head, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, I can eat you. I've already tasted Fae flesh once.
So I'm just writing this down as Song of Pride and Hubris. No big deal.
No big deal. Don't even worry about it.
Adonis and I are going to ride the dragon out into the sunset.
The dragon has something else to say about that.
It's I have a mind of my own, please.
Okay. What are we? So the army is distracted. Lady Astra is charmed. But what are our duelist or golem going to do about Vashka, who is she's considering, but you can tell she's upset. She's
I'm getting insulted here. What the hell?
Yeah. She knows you're helping, but she's very brash. This is the part of Vashka that's brash, especially that she's younger.
Yeah.
So, what do we do? I do feel like the firebrand could
Yeah. I'm thinking either.
Unless Shade has ideas, of course.
I was gonna say no. You should go deal with her and get off me conveniently because I'm about to move.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm thinking somehow dealing or either trying to pull her away or potentially using song to sort of calm her down or kind of bring back more of the iciness.
And keep in mind here. Also, it's just a side suggestion. Also, keep in mind that we have her husband with us.
Yeah,
we do. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah,
produce her husband and say,
are you still holding on to him, or is he
Well, he was frozen at the time, so I think when Shade comes in for a landing, he sets him down so that he can stand on all fours.
Yeah.
I don't know if the feudal lord is being still trans or if that's broken over the time, so he can move around and do his own thing now.
The trance is broken, but you can tell he's just weakened from the ordeal. And as this happens, like he staggers to get up. You see like his clothing, like the ceremonial robes he was wearing, they kind of open up a bit, and you can see in his chest there's like a dryad heart that's beating there, and he's holding onto it, and you can tell he's clutching onto it, heartbroken by the loss of all the heart trees.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. That's a fun little facet there.
I wonder
But
whose
I
heart
think
that is.
helping him over to Vashka, and then trying to convince Vashka, like, look, he's safe. You need to get out of here. We need to get you out of here. This is not the situation that calls for this kind of brashness.
Yeah, absolutely. So it is a dark die for the ritual. Do you feel like you have a skill that could help? Like, there's a lot that could help here. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's charm, inspiration. I think either of those could work. I feel like more inspiration in this moment. Not exactly attempting to charm Vashka.
Okay, good point. And do we have any bargains on the table? I have this awful sneeze that wants to come out, but it's not coming out.
Oh no!
I hate that.
Focus. Okay, I can do this. So think about bargains.
I mean, I wonder if somehow bring in, Luna into this.
Yeah, of course. I will always want to bring in our tragic vampire love. Unless someone has an idea about Luna.
Just.
Oh, because she has part of your power, like Sarah said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What if the bargain is that she has to like sing along with you? Like she has to, and then everybody will see that this happens in front of the rest of the vampires, that a vampire lord can gain access to fey magic like this.
Oh, yeah. And that also shows the fact that Brador is involved with a vampire lord.
The only suggestion I have is 100% based off jammies, which is just the fact that you have to rely on a vampire also makes Vashka know that you're corrupt or have that corruption somehow. So she might go with you, but she'll never trust you.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Yeah,
this is like a completely different character from last time. Like last time was like, yeah, I'm gonna go for it, and this one is like, oh, I'm so like, I'm so stricken and forlorn. Like I am doomed. Yeah. Anyway, Veronica, do you have a bargain?
I think I'll leave it to those because I can't quite make the amorphous idea that I have form. I was rolling around something to do with that heart that you glimpsed being connected back to the fire dancers, but I can't quite get it there.
Ooh, that's a good point though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We can save that for another one. I feel like it's gonna come back in. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, I think I'm gonna go with they'll kind of know everything.
Yeah. Ooh,
yeah.
That's so good. So that's
both sides.
Yeah. Ooh. Really star-crossed lovers at this point. Okay.
Yeah.
And what about our view list? Okay, so that's 3 dice.
Okay, I'm gonna roll those middle 3.
My gosh. Okay.
Take another dark die.
Yeah, reroll.
Reroll those. Because that's a 2.
Sorry.
That is a 6 on the dark die.
Oh gosh. I was like, yes, 6. Oh, dark die. Wait. Up to 5. Okay. Gosh, don't choke on the milk tea, Jenny.
What a moment to go to 6, though.
Yeah.
I mean, this would be a time.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me how it goes off perfectly, and I'll tell you how the corruption further sets in.
I mean, I think like we established, it's more of a duet, and I think Brador at first starts singing himself, and then realizes, oh, that's not going to work. And then I think again offers a hand to Luna, who probably understands kind of what's going on, and then yeah, they sing the song of kind of like recentering Vashka.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so beautiful.
I know it's so beautiful and tragic. Because I'll say that you see the corruption builds in you, and there's a part of you that knows that if you had to choose between Luna and the Fae, you might choose Luna.
I feel like his character is getting very Shakespearean.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Ophelia.
With Ophelia and his like Romeo and Juliet thing that's happening with the vampire.
True, true. It's definitely, but it absolutely worked. Vashka looks at you. I kind of like what Sarah said though, but anyway, we'll see. Like, so let's just say she's not sure what to make of you. Like,
she's not sure what to make of any of us.
Yeah, because she sees, you and she knows, she knows of that clearly this is a vampire lord in front of her that is assisting you that has Fey magic running through them. But Vashka nods. I'll say that this is the perfect time for Sela to like just sort of like come in, like just completely own the scene as Vashka is convinced to move away. In fact,
down.
Yeah, she sees her lover, her human lover, and she rushes to him, and she looks at the three of you, but she looks at the heart trees, and you can see how it's breaking her. Oh, this is probably why later she makes all these bad decisions, because she regrets this one. I think that's what happens. Like, she has to leave the heart trees, and she has to choose her lover, and she has to trust that the three of you can save the heart trees.
And this brings me to what I am up to.
Sure, but I'm just going to say that at this point, Vashka is trying to escape, right? So we don't have to worry about.
We don't have to worry about dealing with her, carrying her. Okay.
Yeah. But go ahead. So what is Shade going to do?
So Shade has. How did you do that, Kat? Shade has walked these areas so hundreds, if not thousands, of times. He knows where every twig, every leaf, every tree is. He is going to go find the youngest, smallest heart tree that we have, and then going to lean on his huge form to use his claws to dig into the dirt on either side of the root system and pull it up, because his goal at this point is to escape with at least one tree.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so this feels like a straight up skill. Oh,
I was going to
make it. Want to consume the tree?
Yeah, that would make it safer. I was going to argue for the skill for observation, because he knows exactly where it is. He knows how big it is.
Yeah, because we could combine the ritual and the observation for sure. So that is, I'll give you. Do we want to give you the 6? I'll give you the 3. That's like halfway. Okay. So, I'm so superstitious. So that's 1 dark die, 1 white die for observation, like you described. Our bargains.
God, I really just want to make your character feel things.
We can say that's what's happening. Like no matter what happens, you can no longer remain stoic and disconnected. Like, you've seen too much.
It's like a combination of all that and embodying the form of a dragon, which I imagine a very passionate sort of creature, all raging fire, greed, and anger, and all that. So Shade's feeling all the emotions.
Yeah, lots of emotions. Yeah,
for the first time.
I like that. I like that joint bargain out between all three of us. Do you have any other
Like
bargains?
Jade must feel. To kind of flesh it out a little bit more, I will say that you can get you'll get the tree out, the baby that you're trying to save, but in that process, you're gonna feel the other heart trees, and they're not upset, they're just like sad because they realize that you're desperately trying to save this one and you're not going to save them.
Oh gosh,
I told you I was trying to make it feel things. It's terrible.
so good, so good though. I like it. Like,
Really good.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, and it kind of makes sense because they're connected to the dryad, so they start to
yeah.
have more like. Ooh.
Twist.
Oh. The worst part is I almost have a bargain for my own dumb action too.
Sure.
Do it.
Actually, the last time I ran this, one of them kept offering himself a horrible bargain. So go ahead.
No, just the thought that so this it triples on the fact that I'm not quite sure yet how the lifespan of these dryads work, but just the idea that by consuming this tree and putting it within him, he effectively puts himself in the bond of a dryad with it.
Right. Ooh,
Like you become that. You're not going to be able to go plant that heart tree and have the dryad connected to it. It's you. You are now that heart tree for the dryad.
Mean, my assumption is still, or my assumption was still that he can at least plant it, but there'll never be a dryad for it. It's his.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought that the other way around. Sorry. Got it.
Oh, okay.
So you're connected to the heart tree, not that the heart tree is.
Yeah, not that the heart tree is
become a heart
connected to
tree
him.
for a dryad.
Yeah, no.
Cool idea though, some dragon coiled around this heart tree.
There was a part of me that was thinking that just had this scene in my head now of in the Brinkwood, the refuge where the dryads are, and there's all the heart trees there, and the ground being kind of slightly rocky, and no one really thinks anything of it because it's just a bunch of trees that have pushed it up. But at one point, there's some stone falls out, and this one slitted eye opens and then closes back up again, and it's just this dragon that's buried underneath the ground or intertwined in the roots of these trees.
Oh, I love it.
I like it. Okay, so I feel like we know which bargain you're taking.
It's weird to take my own bargain, though.
Fine. I think it's okay. I think it plays into the emotions as well, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because there's a sense of protection now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's 3 dice. Ooh.
And 5s.
Yeah.
I think my my corruption does go up though, because my corruption is 4 right now.
Oh wait, no, don't worry because
is the 4 the highest?
No, 4 isn't the highest.
Yeah. You're fine.
I always just assume. Thanks, Kat. I always assume if no matter what the scenario is, if the dark die matches or is above it, I always get it.
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm just gonna stick at 4 and shut my mouth.
But there is a complication. So you are able to do as you say. Does it look like the same ritual that you did earlier when it opens up the chest and it gets pulled into you, or does it look different?
I think it looks vaguely different because he's in a dragon form. I mean, the concept of the ritual is still correct, but instead of it just being plates and stuff, literally the dragon's ribs unfold and open up to this chasm inside. I think you can actually still see the heart and all these internal organs, but the tree still somehow managed to just magically fit inside, and then the rib cage just closes and seals back up.
Yeah, okay, very cool. So my complication for you, let me know if you want to X-card this or something. It's kind of heartbreaking. Is that as you start to do this, you realize that the dryad the tree is connected to is still alive.
Oh.
And you are severing that connection.
Oh,
no. It's trying to fight you. And you're going to have to roll a corruption roll to deal with the guilt of the dryad, but we can script change this. Just let me know.
No, I'll roll the corruption because it's for the greater good, and I'm sorry to kill this, to break that to sever it, but At the same time, I'm just trying to save the forest, and one dryad is not worth it. I'm a terrible person where it counts. Are you actually going to roll?
Did it roll? Did it roll?
It has not yet. Oh, okay. Well, I'll re-roll. Ah! Yep, I'm really upset about it, and I'm really mad, and I don't like how this whole thing is thrown out, and I'm having emotions that I've never had before, and I'm angry, and I'm possessive, and I'm gonna take my fucking tree, and I'm gonna go somewhere in the middle of nowhere and go plant it and say, fuck you all vampires. You all suck.
But, you know, the corruption didn't go up, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. There's that.
Did you roll a 4?
No, I rolled a 1.
Oh, okay. Sorry, there was the 4. I didn't realize which one was yours.
Yeah. Okay, so... so that leaves... Whoa, but what about Selah, who's, like, in front of...
Oh, right. I was...
you're going to have to escape somehow?
Or
Maybe?
not?
Or, you know, just lean in.
Sorry.
Or willingly embrace the corruption. I mean, that's your other option.
Oh, you know what? I think I... Ooh.
Uh-oh.
I do want to call a corruption roll.
You need to embrace the corruption.
Yeah. Anyway, but if you want to do an action first instead, we'll of course like go for that. But I'm thinking it'd be kind of cool in this moment.
You want to decorrupt first?
Yeah. There's also that. Yeah. The only reason I'm offering it is because it could be good if it goes up, and the corruption is like resisting Lady Astra. Like as they stand in front of you and they see you and they admire you for who you are and see you truly for the first time. You are not someone's twin. You are not an entertainer that gets lost in the background. Someone is seeing you for the first time.
I think I have to leave this up to the dice if this is something that is going to completely pull her to the vampire's side. So I don't think I will do anything to reduce it before rolling that corruption.
That seems reasonable.
Because it's too good of a like possibility for that to pull her into the vampires. All right, I'm gonna take this one over here and roll it. And apparently it likes that idea.
Oh wow. I thought we would miss it because we've been narrowly missing the whole time. Okay, so
this is what happens when I'm like, oh, I'm gonna lean in. The dice are like, okay, let's go. They don't listen to I want to succeed.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay, so this is your moment. Wow, because technically it makes sense because Shade had like left the forest. Okay, so what happens? Like, tell me how the corruption overtakes you.
So she's standing there looking like Vashka, talking to Lady Astra. She's got that feeling that like this is someone who loves her for her and really sees who she is. And she doesn't break eye contact with the vampire as she drops the facade and asks her if she can still love her in this form. Which I'm assuming she says yes. And,
I like that. I'm assuming she says yes because look at this.
And Astra reaches out to her and gently takes her hand and pulls her into a deep embrace. Do they do the whole vampire biting thing? And we're gonna do it.
Yeah. They do actually. They do. Like there's a blood sterling, but they still like they do the exaggerate.
I know I can't say that word either. I'm no help.
Yeah, they do the suck thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Suck thing.
And while drawing her into that embrace, I think she's going to lean over her and just stick her fangs into her flesh. So one her without who, but the one with fangs, and the one without fangs.
I love it. And I feel like at this point, that's when the fire starts to rise around everything. The army looks confused because it's Vashka, it's not Vashka, but Lady Astra looks happy, so they are not going to.
Now what do we do? Yeah.
And you've got a bodyguard who's like, standing at attention behind you.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask. So I'm going to offer Batter the same thing. If you want to do a reduction roll first, that's fine. But I think at this moment, the corruption you have to resist is you see Ophelia. She is determined to make sure. Yeah. So
she come back.
Yeah. So she is going to attack Lady Luna because Lady Luna is distracted.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
So the question is, will you allow this to happen, or so we can do the corruption roll now to see if you're able to like stand strong, or or you can do a reduction roll if you like first.
What might a reduction roll look like here?
Ooh.
Yeah, because
I would say allow Lady Luna to get hurt though, because ultimately it would serve the vampires to know that Lady Luna, who is possibly feeling for the Fae and their plight. Right.
You could just pull what Veronica did though and leave it entirely up to RNG.
Yeah.
You are at that like
right at the threshold. Because the other thing, so I'm imagining, leave it up to dice, and I feel like it's either going to ending up, going all the way with Lady Luna. Not.
Are we not doing phrasing anymore?
I mean, the vampire way. Also, just kind of have the idea of what Bradar might do is just to kind of throw himself in the middle.
Yeah. Oh no. Our true firebrand. Yeah. Okay. So why don't we roll the dark die and we'll see? Because rolling a 6 is hard. So,
It is. All right. Okay, I'm gonna pull that one off. Here we go. That is a 3.
Okay. So you stand against the corruption. You're able to hold yourself together. But what do you do though? Like Lady Luna, it looks like she's going to react too slowly. Jamie's gonna twist the knife. I'm gonna say she's not reacting in time because she is so full of the song that you sang together that she's only looking at you and she's distracted. So she's not going to be able to.
Okay. So here's one idea: is Bradder throws himself in the middle, and I think part of him realizes that he and Luna are like intrinsically wound together at this point, magically and otherwise. But he doesn't want Ophelia to harm her, but he also doesn't want Ophelia to also be in a bad situation. So I think he's going to try and throw himself in the middle, probably get stabbed a little bit, and tell Ophelia that he's sorry, that he couldn't be with her, and I think try and convince her to continue on, because I think I feel like he can't ever really go back to the Fae. But then I doubt Luna could also ever really, at this point, kind of go back to the Vampire Lords. It's a weird situation. So I'm kind of imagining them like those two going off to figure out what to do next. And then
seriously, just go make a half baby, and then I can play it in the next game.
Yeah. Trying to convince Ophelia to stay with the Fae, keep fighting, and just I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like you're trying to use the charm skill. Is that right?
Yeah. I think.
Or there's also inspiration, even beauty. You could be using your beauty.
Oh yeah, maybe beauty. I haven't used that.
Yeah, why not?
Let's go with that. It's a very romantic moment.
Yeah. And the bargain I will offer you is that no matter what happens, Lady Luna will not return to the vampires. She may, whether or not you accept her is another story, but she will feel like she can no longer return to them, which would endanger her in a way also. But it would also mean she could possibly turn into a better person and let go of the blood sterling and give up on being a vampire. So
I want to build on that.
Sure, go.
Right now we're just like, instead of offering bargains, we're going to make one monster bargain for you.
Hey, it's worked fairly well all night.
instead of feeling like, so she's gonna have to just leave. She's not gonna go back to the vampires. But instead of that feeling like, oh, if she stops taking the blood sterling, like maybe she can come back to being human. It'll be different. You get a feeling that there was a reason that she was willing to become a vampire. And so if she goes back to being human, it may mean going back to like whatever was going to kill her before.
Okay. Ooh.
It just means she has to just continue to be a vampire.
Yeah, I feel like those are, unless Sarah has an idea for a bargain, I feel like those are...
I actually don't. I'm pretty content with those ones.
This game makes me feel mean.
Yeah, no. I really like that. I think it keeps the particularly tragic lovers angle of she can never not be a vampire, and they're just, yeah.
Yeah.
I love
Okay.
that.
I love it. Okay, so that's your bargain if you want to take it.
Okay, here are my 2 dice. 5.
Nice.
Five
Yeah,
is
I'm not pushing that.
Yeah. So 5 is good. You're able to convince her. It is as you say. You talk to her. I'm thinking the beauty is that. Let me know if you have any ideas. But I'm thinking the beauty is like Lady Ophelia. I mean, not Lady. Ophelia comes in with her sword of blue lace agate. But you just sort of stand there, like your hair just goes like it's that moment. So you just stand.
Yeah. Oh, or like in Princess Mononoke when Sen stabs Ashitake, and he just kind of like stands there holding it.
Oh my gosh! Yeah. Oh gosh, and the blade goes through it, everything.
Yeah.
Wow. And the thing is, she could have stopped but she didn't think you were going to. She thought you were going to at the last second.
Yeah.
And so when she sees that you are willing to hurt yourself or get yourself killed over this, she looks at you, and you can see the tears welling up in her eyes, and she says, "I will continue to fight if it means that I can reclaim you one day." And she just slowly draws out her blade, and she moves away from you, and she's looking at the two of you, at you and Lady Luna, and she says, "Go. I will keep them at bay while the two of you escape." That's my complication.
That's good. I was gonna make a suggestion for a complication too, but that's beautiful. My only other suggestion was, the complication was she would never find anyone else.
Ooh, which is kind of yeah, it's both. So do you and Lady Luna run off?
I think so.
Because you did at least, save Vashka.
Yeah, but Vashka's been saved. Shade's, I guess, taking care of the heart trees. Sayla's a little busy.
I'm in love. Leave me alone.
Yeah, and I'll say, so the fire is rising around Sayla, but you see Ophelia step forward, all of her water magic, and you realize this whole time that she's been holding back this whole time. So she goes, I feel like this would make sense, as you're running, we're not sure what happens between Ophelia and the rest of the vampires. We are not sure what happens with Sayla just yet, but everyone rushes away as the forest choir starts to collapse in on itself, and fire and water rages within. So I feel like we're going to go into epilogue. Does that make sense? Yeah, I also completely lost track of the time. I'm so sorry. How's everybody though? I was thinking, I'm going to tell them we have an hour left, and suddenly the hour passed. I don't know.
I'm doing good.
I mean, we got it makes sense though, because in Ring 5, everything is hitting its crescendo.
Yeah, because at first I was so confident. Oh, we're moving through the other ones quickly, and then bam, Ring 5. It's just there.
I'm not
I even removed some parts of Ring 5 from the anyway. But
we were packing it with emotion. So
yeah, that's true. There's a great amount of stuff going on. Okay, so my epilogue questions for you, and of course you know what the last one's going to be. I'm really going to laugh if it's Sarah's character. But let me get the epilogue questions. You can choose any one of these to answer. That's what I did last time with the other group. So in the interest of time, you can just choose whichever you like to answer. You can tweak it, make your own questions too. Let me just put them into the chat. The first set of questions is, what do the ghosts of the fallen heart trees look like? How do they haunt what remains of the choir forest? And then the second question is, what songs of your deeds are sung? Sorry, typo. What songs of your deeds are sung? Why do you not deserve this heroic reputation and legacy?
Oh.
And then the third one is, what celebrations or rituals are lost forever, corrupted by these nightmarish events?
I think
come
Veronica
on,
should take
Sarah. What
that
is
one.
it? No.
Nope,
What does
nope,
the
nope.
marriage ceremony look like
Mm-mm.
before the corruption?
I like the what's. I like the what songs of your deeds are sung.
Yeah, that's also good. And then second to last is, what corruption remains in the Dryads generations from now? And then the last question, which we know, how does the remaining magic of the choir forest form the mask of riot? Who keeps it safe over the years? Okay, so you can choose any one of them, or you can make up your own, of course. And then we'll go into epilogue.
You know I want to give you the mask, right?
You know I'm gonna take the goddamn mask, right?
You've already set it up with
I know.
the ground around the heart trees.
Yep. I know. Nope. I think the mask does not appear initially. I think so Shade gets the heart tree planted in a place that's safe, and time passes and it drops seeds and a couple more start growing, and at some point in that time the Fae find it and they start kind of sequestering around it, and one day hanging from the initial heart tree's branches is the mask. Just appears one day there. They don't know where it came from.
Very cool, very cool. Can I say that it looks like the Dryad that died?
I could see, I could see Shade being melancholy enough that becomes his sort of not reference, not alter.
Yeah, like facade or persona, like
No, like when you show respect to somebody, it's like a statue, a remembrance of that individual.
Got it.
Because he did kill him.
I have an idea, and you can say no for its connection. But I have an idea about the ghosts from the fallen heart trees. That they look like they're dryads. There is that connection in them. So the ghosts look like the same way that the dryad that died with the heart tree that you consumed kind of had that piece there. Like that is the appearance of the ghosts, and they have a connection as like the last remaining heart tree to Shade and what he's done. So when the mask is formed after all of those years, there's like, it looks like the dryad that died, but there's pieces of all the other heart tree spirits.
So then can I build off that, because I just have this scene in my head. First of all, I had this image of like, these ghosts that are dryads, but and they still have like standard like hair and designs, except for curling over their head. Instead of like antlers, it's actually like branches. Like they have tree branches that come off the back of their head. So now I see this scene of like a growing forest of heart trees where there are some younger Fae that are here, and every once in a while you see one of these spirits like lean around one of the trees, just kind of silently watching.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah. Are there any other questions we want to answer? Like, do we want to take a look at what happened?
I'm tempted by songs of your deeds.
Take it.
Not 100% sure where I want to go with it. But maybe the idea is that survivors from that one group that Brador tried to say go home. might carry on stories from it.
Saying how brave he is.
I
Yeah,
have another suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
What if Ophelia survived?
Yeah. I was thinking that too.
And she, like, in that lost love and keeping that connection to you alive, she talks about how heroic you were and eventually it gets embellished to how you saved her life, and she just gives you credit for things that you didn't get anywhere near, but because it's her way of keeping you with her.
And it's also her way of like thinking. She's telling herself, if he comes back, I don't want them to reject him. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like she's trying to twist the story back around.
She's PR for you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, so heartbreaking.
He is still a hero in her mind, and she will.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. I really like that. Yeah. So is there anything else, or because I also
I have one last one.
Yeah, because I want to look at Sarah for sure.
Sarah decided that I get these celebrations or rituals. So I will say, so we didn't actually see the hand fasting because it got all messed up. But I will say that before the vampire corruption reached the Grey Wood, what's the name of it?
Oh, the Quiet Forest.
Just the whole thing, before the vampires came to anywhere in the forest.
Oh, to like Cardenfell in general?
Yeah, before all this started, when it was the Fae, like previous to current trauma.
Right.
It was fairly uncommon, but if there was a Fae who found a human worthy to be their partner, part of the ceremony with the hand fasting, the Fae actually gave a bit of their magic to the human that they were binding themselves to. And everything that has happened with the vampires and the humans that have become vampires, having had, so like maybe even because this was a renewal of vows, the lord that became the duke actually had some of this Fae magic from his previous hand fastings with Vashka. But when all of this happened, that part of the ritual never came back because it then became too much of a risk.
It was too dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, yeah. Wow, I like it. And it kind of explains the Fae blood transfusions that Duke has later in our current campaign. Ooh. Yeah, very good. I like it. But I also want to see our character, Sayla. Do we have any ideas for her? Do we want to keep it like mysterious?
Oh no, I think I'm gonna leave her in her lover's embrace with teeth plunging into her flesh.
Oh yeah, absolutely. How about Luna and Braid, or do we also want to leave it as mystery? Or do you have an idea?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think leaving it up as a mystery is kind of fun because
they vanished and were never heard from again.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, so the idea that I have also in terms of some of the epilogue is later when Vashka and her human lover, the feudal lord, renew because they didn't actually get to renew their vows this time.
Got a little interrupted.
Yeah. We see them in Vashka was able to just save barely they're like seeds of heart trees that haven't been planted yet. And during their hand fasting, during the ceremony, she gifts him with the heart tree saying, I made the mistake of not trusting them with someone, and you have proven yourself to me. So I give you my heart, and I know that you will always keep these safe.
Oh, Vashka.
You are evil.
Oh, Vashka.
I'm just explaining where she's coming from. It's not, it's not like...
Oh, no wonder our Fae is so emo.
Yeah. She made so many mistakes.
Dumb.
She just made one mistake after another. Yeah. But there you go. So I feel like that's the end of our game. What I'm going to do is I'll end the live stream and then we can like decompress and go over things afterwards. But I think that's it for the stream. So thank you for whoever is watching. For watching our drama.
Oh, this is so much fun.